What is up, super fam and bro Viren alike? I am Sensei Finito, and welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things Marvel and everything pop culture. And today we are going to be doing episode 8 of our From Watcher to Reader series. Wait, is this episode 8 or is this episode 9? I'm not sure. But we are going to be continuing our From Watcher to Reader. I think this is episode 8. Yeah, I think I'm right. We are going to be continuing our From Watcher to Reader series covering chapters 42 to 47 of The Eye of the World, The Wheel of Time. Book 1. I am actually really excited to get into today's segment of chapters that we have ahead of us. These eight chapters, this segment of chapters, the 8th segment of chapters this time around, it was really fun. It was really fun in a scary kind of way, and it was really fun in a, not really coming full circle, but it is a little bit. It's kind of coming full circle, and I really enjoyed seeing the differences in this story for the book. As you know, since this series is called From Watcher to Reader, I'm obviously a watcher of the show that is now becoming a reader. And oh my goodness, like this part right here, I was hyped. I am so excited for next week. That's all I can say. I am so excited for next week. I think next week is going to be amazing when we end the series, talk about everything in the book and just nerd out completely. I'm so excited for it, man, to really see how this book ends. Because I appreciate the show for what the show was, and now that we're reading these books, it's just so good. And we're going to get into all that nitty bitty itty gritty in just a second here. But before we do, you already know, follow us on all platforms at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with all things Marvel and everything pop culture. You can also follow me on social media at Sensei Finito to stay up to date with all my thoughts, theories, and opinions on whatever particular thing we may be partaking in at that particular time. And of course, you already know them podcasts, man. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can listen to ours too. We out there. And hopefully, I'm trying to tell you, tomorrow is February 1st. So hopefully we can get either a podcast out tomorrow or the first Wednesday of February is when we'll probably start the Wheel of Time podcast. And I think I was going to call that WOT Bros or something like that, WOT Bros. So that'll be out there, and then we'll be able to hear all of the past conversations we've ever had about Wheel of Time in that format there. And I'm excited for that because I know people love Wheel of Time, and I know, it's a lot of, there's a lot of you guys that are of the, of the age privileged variety. And I know that that's where y'all like to get a lot of your content that is in podcast form, baby. So got it, you know what I'm saying. We're gonna have that little sprinkled out there for you too. But yeah, man, I'm really excited to get into the 8th segment here today. I'm excited to hear how you guys felt. I forgot to make the poll beforehand. I'm telling you, Marisu, we got to figure out how we can get you to make some polls and stuff too, because doing all of this stuff, having to do everything is kind of it takes me out of it sometimes. I want to be able to be like, yo, Marisu, can we get a poll for? And I know you'll be coming up with wild polls too. I'm gonna figure out how to get you in there, girl. I'm gonna figure out how to get you in there. First and foremost, if you guys don't know, the way that these things are segmented as well is we first start off with chat talk, where we just talking to chat and getting it in there, see how everyone is doing, get the temperatures of the reading as well, about how everyone was feeling going into it, see how everyone's days and lives and so on and so forth were, and then we kind of get into the book a little bit more. And I'll tell you how I feel about the book, and then we'll get into the chapter by chapter review and discussion. I really do think that was a good way that's been a good way to do it. If you guys feel like we should do it in a different format when it comes to the book club, let me know. But I think chat talk, overall thoughts, chapter by chapter review and discussion is a good way to do it. So that's most likely the way we're going to be continuing to do it around these parts. Let's see. I would like to know what. Let's get a 1 in the chat if you like this segment of reading. Let's get the 2 in the chat if you didn't, and then let's get a 3 in the chat if you're not really sure how to feel about this portion of the Reader Rooskies. Let's get an overall kind of temperature check of how you guys were feeling about this chapter. If you liked it, if you didn't, and all that good stuff. I thought I had water. That's unfortunate. Allow. Oh my goodness. Alert box. No. What am I doing? Sorry, yo. The poll. I'm doing the poll to see which chapter you guys liked the most. Here we go. Let's edit this. What was your favorite chapter this segment? And then we're going to start off with 42. I'm trying to make sure, yeah. 43, 44. Anybody have any good poll ideas that any yes or no's or high or lows before we continue, just so we can get a poll cracking? There we go. A YouTube poll, that is. Okay, we got the Streamlabs poll, and now let's get the YouTube poll. When you first read this segment, were you surprised? Ooh, that's a good one, Marisu. See, that's what I'm talking about, Marisu. You be coming through with them. All right, now that we got the poll going, we're rocking now. My bad, y'all. I was definitely reading up until literally like 8:15, and then I put my kids to sleep, and then I was like, all right, let's go do it. So I am a little unprepared and just a little bit, but we got it all together now, I believe, so we should be good. All right. What was your favorite chapter of this segment? Use exclamation point, space, and then the chapter that you liked the most to let us know which one you liked. Okay? So what chapter did you like the most? In this segment of 42 through 47, which chapter was your favorite? And then we also have the YouTube poll going. Who did the ways better, the book or the show? Let me know how you guys are feeling about all of that stuff. I got my handy dandy notebook, as you can see. I got the notebook. I got to flip to the beginning, of course. Oh, yep, 42. I actually had quite a few questions. I had a couple questions pop up a few times that I am hoping I can get answered. And I guess not all the questions are like I'm confused, but it's just I feel like there was questions that were raised for me in my nerd brain, and I'm fine with Waffle being the answer, as you guys know. But let's just start it off and talk about my overall thoughts of this segment. Okay, I'm gonna fix my mic real quick because I feel like it's kind of low. There we go. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. All right, buddy, relax. I should have muted. That's my bad. I know you guys heard all of that. Okay. Let's get it. I really appreciated this portion of the reading. The eighth segment, which we covered, was chapters 42 through 47. I appreciated this segment for a lot of reasons. As we've gone through this series week by week, I've kind of made it very obvious that I love me some world building and I love me some lore. And I think that we handled world building and lore quite gracefully in this segment. Our good old best friend Loyal really shined in this segment as well. And it just made me really excited for the future of the story. We got a lot of call forwards, I guess you can say, in a lot of different ways. And those call forwards have me also excited for what can happen next. And when, we always try not to judge this book too closely to the show, but we always are going to think about the show because it's fresh on our minds and a whole bunch of other stuff. But it was really interesting to see how this section was very similar but different to the show. Everything else in the show has been up until this point has been like wildly different from the book. But still being like quote unquote faithful in its own way. But with this section, it was like when they made this part of the show, they tried to follow it as closely as they could within the realm of like budget and things like that. And within the story that they had already been weaving up until that point as well, because I feel like what we're about to get to is a alternate season finale from what we got from the show, obviously, but I feel like it's something that can happen very similarly. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but it's very exciting to like check it out and be like, oh wait a minute now, hold on, are we about to go into this era? Or are we about to do this? Is everyone about to, But the book has built up a completely different story than the show has built up until this point. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm not entirely sure what we can get with next week. But this chapter did a wonderful job of setting it up. And in a way, I mean, earlier I said it came full circle, and I was like, well, not really, but yes, it has come full circle to the point of like, it's just not okay. It hasn't come all the way full circle. It's almost there. It's like just about to touch, like we're right there about to make that full loop back around, having a lot of those callbacks to things that have happened earlier in the story, and all of those things that we've kind of been able to siphon through. It's been very beneficial. It's been it's been awesome to be able to see these different things start to connect back, and hear these things get brought up again, and see the way that our characters have truly grown to who they are now. We have now been gone from the two rivers for a fairly long time. So being able to see our characters be these different versions of themselves, it just works really well for building the foundation of what will occur within the next portion. And we even get to see each of our characters kind of look at the look at each other and be like, wow, you've grown. You know, that's something that I think is really awesome to see, is each of these characters taking their own time to appreciate where they have come from within their relative stories, and making sure that everyone has been doing okay. And it's just been really, it was really cool, and we got to see them do that full banter, and just I love that moment. I love those moments. I love family dynamics. I kind of said this last week, was I love the found family dynamic in all sense, like in all ways. It just works so well in all types of stories, whether it's Full Metal Alchemist, this, Avatar, The Last Airbender, all of these things where we get our characters creating these bonds with each other, and those bonds become unbreakable. Like, these unbreakable bonds become even stronger through turmoil. That is just like a beautiful story to me. And I think that we really got to see that within this portion. We got to see everyone like dealing with each other. Yet, like I was just saying, like, it's a good feeling. You know, it's a good feeling, and it feels like, oh, we're back. You know what I mean? Like, we're back together again. Is everything fine and dandy? No. But are we okay for right now? No, but we're together, and that's what matters. And that's what really hits home for me with this entire story, is that is the focal point of it, is we will not be broken no matter what. And that's awesome. I guess I kind of got ahead of myself a little bit right there, but those are my overall thoughts of this section of the reading. Let's jump into chat and let's see how you guys are kind of feeling. I think those were my overall thoughts. Yeah, those were my overall thoughts. I definitely skipped ahead of myself. My bad. Won't be able to make it live, but hope you have a great show, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Hey, definitely appreciate you, KP. My guy, you're quickly gonna get the mod around here. You keep on doing the Lord's work, or doing the Creator's work, excuse me. What up, Sensei and Marisu? What's up with the ACM? How you doing?
Hello there.
Hope you're having a good one. I just finished the Sanderson book. I started on Monday, and I'm ready for some Wheel of Time discussion. What book was it, my good friend ACM? What did you read? I would love to know. Good evening, readers. Lots of goodies to talk about tonight. I could not agree more, Marisu. How you do? Oh, let's get our guy his bucks, KP, because he was technically the first one in chat. Add bucks. At KP. Oh, I can't at him because he's not in chat now. Unfortunate. All right, ACM. Oh, no, my thing is just tripping. All right, sorry, guys. Don't know why it won't let me add you bucks. You don't deserve it. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, well. BRB got to make some tea. What type of tea is sipping on? Marisu's gone for a second. Redacted. Nah, that's crazy. No, that's insane. Not Marisu's gone. Let's spoil everything for Sensei. That's heartbreaking. Thank you for blacking out those spoilers. I feel like this format has been working. All right, bet. Love to know it. I'll start fine-tuning this format then more for the next series. This was definitely a little more rocky because we didn't really know what we were going to do with this, but I think I have a good idea of how I want to do these from now on. So it may make it easier. You're going to have to get another 7 books in before I start posting anything than a 1? Damn. I feel that. It's impossible to not like this section. I feel that as well. This section is very, very awesome. 42 probably shines more on a reread. There are a ton of good nuggets for a new reader to make theories and predictions about. Oh, okay. So Marisu said 45. Let me see what I thought about 45. Let me look at my notes real quick. Okay. Yes, I actually really did love this. I love this part too. No, yeah. Yes, you're super right. It did leave a ton of room for theories because as I'm reading my notes, this is one of the ones where I had a lot of the question marks next to all the things that I was writing down because I was like, yo, wait, does that mean this? Yo, does that mean that? Like, what is this? What's this mean? Why is land sitting easily erect? What's happening? You know, like there was just a lot of stuff going on with that chapter. So I like 45 for sure. 42. Let me roll back. 40. 42. That's where we started. I appreciated this chapter a lot because this is the chapter that let me know that they all knew each other. You know what I mean? Like they know each other deeper than it just being like a conversation. Like no, we actually know each other from like our mannerisms that we do, from how we talk to each other, from the way our eyes look from left to right. You know, this was one of those chapters that I think sewed in that family bond a little bit more, kind of like I was talking about earlier, that found family vibe. I think chapter 42 did great things to give us that exactly, is those things there. And it was amazing to see or Loyal kind of be praised by everyone, I should say, and there's a lot of different things going on in that one. We got a lot of world building in that one as well. In 42. Yeah. I liked 42 as well. I liked 42 and 45. I don't really know what my favorite chapter was. I'm not going to lie to you. I think my favorite chapter was I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. It's hard. I don't know. I thought the show was really creative with how they handled the ways. It'd be difficult to make a void visually interesting. I still prefer Machin Shin being murdery and not just intrusive thoughts. I like the way that the show did it, but wait, I can't remember which I watched first. Maybe I don't. One of these things reminded me of the other, but his Dark Materials reminded me of the Wheel of Time, the Ways, like the Ways in the Wheel of Time show, or it was the Ways in the Wheel of Time show reminded me of the his Dark Materials place. I can't remember which one of those goes which way, but yeah, whichever one I watched first, that's the one that the other one reminded me of. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, like, but cool. You know, I don't want to judge the show against the book, but I do want to point out the differences for the sake of eliminating confusion. Some of the Taveran stuff is very different. I highly agree with this, and this is something else that I actually I think I made a note of this at some point, was because they were really talking about the Taveran, and they were going in deeper and deeper with the meaning of it, and you know what I mean. And then it started kind of becoming a male female aspect to it as well, and it kind of got me a little bit like, wait a minute, what? I was like, you know, this was I will say that this is one of those sections that was like, wait, I thought. Even though this entire book has been that, I think that happened to me a lot in this in this specific section of the reading. It was like, You know, and that had me like, and it had me like that multiple times. So I agree with that for sure. You've grown. You've been traumatized. I mean, basically, yes. I think something a little bit to be a little bit more on the nose is you've been traumatized and have not been beat by the trauma, you know? Or you've been traumatized and have not been beat by the trauma. I think that's a good way to say you've grown up. I think that's what growing up is, truthfully, is not is not losing to the trauma that you get exposed to throughout your life. It's overcoming the trauma that makes growth, because you grow past it. And I believe that is where the growing up is all entitled. And that's why I feel like some people can grow up earlier, is because they may go through a lot more in life earlier, causing them to have to grow up sooner. Tiny rant. Kaladin has entered the chat. Kaladin is definitely a character from the Cosmere, right? I know that from at the very least, because I have not read. I still haven't read any Sanderson books. I really want to read. I think I want to read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which is the one that he just wrote. I kind of want to jump in with those new books that he just dropped, all the secret books that he wrote. I think that would be an amazing place to start with his stuff. Well, that's just honestly, that's based off of some of the stuff that he said as well. I think he made a video on YouTube, and it was like, here's where you should start with Brandon Sanderson stuff. And I think I'm gonna, when we start going into the world of Brando Sando, that's one of the videos that we'll watch. We'll watch some of his other stuff. You know, he has I think he has multiple readings for those new books, and I think it would be really cool to listen to those live if we can, and not get hit with the copyright strike, which is very possible. I haven't done any Brandon Sanderson stuff, but I feel like at one hand I feel like he would be cool with it, and on the other hand I'm like, I don't know, so we'll dive into that. But another tiny tangent, I just really want to jump into something Brandon Sanderson, but I also really want to jump into this more into Robert Jordan stuff with going into the next books. So I think we might have to kind of do like a duo book club or something, or just have multiple book clubs going on, and we might even have to make another channel for it if it gets that big to the point where we got that many going. But it depends. We'll see. Matt coming down the stairs like, so sorry, I read you off for filth a minute ago. I was kind of effed up. It's hilarious. Yeah, he definitely immediately owned up for what he was doing. Matt went full Mean Girl, for real. I read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. Whoa. Yo, that's insane. I read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. It's a really fun short read, but it won't make quite as much sense if you don't read Mistborn or Stormlight first. I've listened to all of the secret books that he put out, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. That's crazy. I swear I didn't even see you say Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. That's insane. But yeah, I do really want to check that out. I want to check out all three of the ones that he made. Blueberry tea sounds extra freaking yummy. Moiraine was like, you had one job. Tell me about your dreams. I loved that too. I did love that. I can't lie. I like any chapter called Tales of the Wheel. There will be a handful of those over future books. What? That's awesome. Tales of the Wheel. There's multiple of those. Super interesting that that's not what they chose to call the mini episodes on Prime. That is a freaking beautiful thing to call those. Like the little animated shorts. Just call those the Tales of the Wheel. What? Yes, that would have been ingenious. That would have been fire, bro. I'm telling you, yo, these companies gotta hire me. Ooh, his Dark Materials parallel. I like it. Yo, I love his Dark Materials. I definitely want to read that book too. We're all about some his Dark Materials here. That's damn Skippy right. You don't need to have read his other stuff to enjoy Yumi, but there will be a bunch of references that'll leave you head scratching. I agree, but I kind of love stuff like that. It always makes me be like, yo, what's that? Oh my gosh. And then you find that's how every story is, kind of, right? Every story says stuff that you never knew about. That's just the type of nerd I am, though, too. You know, when you watch, Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, or you watch Star Wars 4, and you hear Obi-Wan talk about the Clone Wars, we didn't know anything. Like, we don't know anything about that. Like, right? And then we get to know more about the Clone Wars later on, and then it makes it that much more awesome. I think I really love stuff like that, and especially jumping into any of those new books, and then being able to go back in with the rest of the universe. I think it would be awesome. And I believe Brando Santos said that not Tales of the Wheel, excuse me. My brain went into so much other stuff. Yumi and the Painter is like narrated by somebody from another. I don't know. I love the way he does his books, though, and it's like narrated by certain people that are just experiencing things around them. I love stuff like that. He does a good job with that. Better than anyone else. I've never really read anything the way that he does it like that, to where someone is narrating someone else's life, but the person that's narrating the person's life is a person in the world as well. Love it. I think Brandon Sanderson uses Michael Kramer and Kate Redding for his audiobooks too. Yeah, he does, but he also read his own books live on his page, where he did like a reading of them, and I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. I definitely want to do stuff like that too, and I will do stuff like that for my book in the future. Animated shorts being called Tales of the Wheel would have been fire. It would have been fire. They definitely slept on. They definitely slept on that. For real, for real. All right. It was good having that little chat talk, having a little chit chat with chat, you know what I'm saying? I always love having a little chit chat with y'all. But now let's get into our chapter by chapter review and discussion for these chapters. All right. And I am super pumped. I'm super excited to get into it. But before we do,
6 nations divided, how the gods envisioned the lands of Ghaphora, where nations must praise their gods individually. Inguvu, the god of power, Altira, the goddess of reality, Akasha, the goddess of space, Akaili, the goddess of mind, Nafasi, the god of time, Isarin, the god of soul. Each god bestowed their name and universal property to their nation through the blood of their land. Diligent praise to these gods, along with the blood of the land, allows the inhabitants of Ghaphora to wield the universal property of their god. These inhabitants are called gifts. It is forbidden for these nations to fraternize with one another. Gifts, the lands of Ghaphora.
yes, sir. Y'all already know. Go tune in with Gifts, the Lands of Ghaphora. Alpha readers, be ready. I'm going to be sending out copies this week for real, like 100% sure. This Friday, we will be doing our Let's Talk About My Book, part 3. I may read some stuff from my book. Sorry, I was running, trying to get some water. I may read from my book, and I definitely want to send some copies out there. Mari Sue, I don't know how I can send something to you, but I need an email or something somehow, so I can send those chapters to you. I really want to. At the very least, I can just drop it in the chat, really. But I would like to send it to you for real, if it's possible. Just saying that. Just saying that. Just saying that. All right. So let's get into it, yo. I'm excited. I am so excited. So let's start off with
Chapter 42. Remembrance of Dreams.
Remembrance of Dreams is a fire name to start it off. No cap. Like, this is a beautiful way to start it off. I love that name. All right. So I love that we started this chapter with them basically not wanting to talk to each other at all. Like, they all were very quiet, not talking about anything. But the thing that I also noticed was Rand immediately was aware of Perrin's change, even though it's not the one power. You know, that's something that really stood out to me, was like, and I mean, of course you're going to notice your friend's eyes glowing, but it was deeper than that. It was way deeper than that. Rand continuously was like, man, there's something extra different. And it's not just this, but it's also that. And, you know, Rand could tell by the way that Perrin was holding himself, the way that he was looking, the way that he responded to certain situations. He was just very keen to the things that he was doing. And then I believe Moiraine also makes mention of it later on within these chapters as well about Perrin. And that's something that I don't know why, but it just really stood out to me, because I feel like, I don't know. I don't feel like anyone else has really said something or really focused in on him as much as Rand did. But that also may be because no one is as close to Perrin as Rand is. And then everyone being absolutely aghast to seeing Loial was awesome. Everybody was like, what the hell? And my man Rand is like, yeah, bruh, I've been through so much crazy stuff. This doesn't even really faze me. This is just another part of the journey for me, honestly, at that point. And the Ogier being legends, period, is such a amazing. The Ogier, just Ogier as a fantasy point in this amazing series is fantastic. They are one of the most fantasy things about this series so far. It's the Ogier. Like, yeah, the magic is there, the one power, all of that stuff. Yes. But the way that the Ogier work, it's something that is not like anything else. Like, it's not something that I've ever seen. I've really never seen something like that before. And the entire lore of them that we also got explained to us in this segment was fantastic. It was just fantastic. I had such a good time with Loial and him explaining everything to everyone. Something that I was very taken back by completely was we didn't see the Matt moment. You know what I mean? That we saw from the show of the black goo coming out of Matt and like chasing Moiraine or whatever was going on and then getting dispelled. We didn't see that. We just saw the after effects. And again, I keep talking about it, but this show does a fantastic job with giving us a different perspective. The show did a fantastic job of giving us a different perspective of the book to keep things fresh for those that have already read it. It doesn't have to always be the same exact thing over and over again. You know what I mean? It's more of a it's just taking these moments that we never saw and then shining light to them. So you know, it's just a way for the fans to be able to appreciate it a little bit more, because it's like, oh wow, I never knew. Like, I never knew that's how that would have looked or how that happened or whatever. And then I loved the Matt's swagger reference as well. Like the Matt swagger reference was actually pretty peak. Loved that little reference there. I was like, hey, yo, Matt Swagger. Why is that not anyone's name? Yo. Speaking of, yo, shout out to Matt's Dagger. I don't know where Matt's Dagger's been, but, yo, shout out to Matt's Dagger for real. But it was interesting that Matt still had the dagger. And the word binding was used, but I don't know what that means fully. I don't know what that means. I don't know where that goes or where it comes from. You know what I mean? That definitely threw me, not for a loop, but it definitely had me a little bit confused about what we were doing. Because I don't know if we've heard that term of binding before. But no matter what, it was very lucky that, you know, Moiraine cleansed the taint. And you know, that's good. That's a good thing. Cleansing the taint is something that should happen, you know, regularly, if I'm not mistaken. I know models do it a lot, but and then we of course got the magic catchphrase. And it was also super interesting to me that Perrin didn't mention Wolf Brothers at all. I can't remember if they told him not to say anything or something, but it was just kind of interesting that he didn't tell anyone about the Wolf Bros or being a Wolf Bro either. And it was just like, why? It just kind of stood out to me like, interesting. It was also dope to hear that Loyal knew about the Tinkerers. And I can't think of what their name was. Someone please tell me what their name was in the chat. The Tinkers. It's like, I can't remember. But he was saying how the Tinkers, you know, how the Ogier taught the Tinkers their songs, but the trees don't listen anymore, and the trees don't listen to humans at all. And I loved that there was not a lot of Ogier left that can sing to the trees. Something that we don't even know really about until we get to season 2, where we get to see that brief moment of it, and then it's immediately snuffed out by the damn Shan-Chan. And that was, I said it already, but all the lore that we got for the Ogier, I drew a complete blank on their name, but all the lore that we got on the Ogier was truly magical, and I just had a really good time with it for sure. There was this term that was said with like the Dark One breaks your mental walls basically, and that also made me really invested and really enthralled with everything that was going on. It had me super excited for what we were going to be doing next. Yeah, super dope. We talk about Taviran, of course. Again, we got the Ogier talking about him. We get a mention of the Waygate and being swallowed by Shadow. Yeah, and then I think that's all I really got for chapter 43, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe those are like basically the main things that I kind of wrote down for chapter 42. I had a good time with it though. Like I said, being able to experience so much from not just experience so much, but also see so much, or not see. What's the word? Experience. Being able to experience so much from the point of view of Loyal over his years, and seeing just how different the Ogier since basically everything. It was nice. It was really nice. Oh, and we also get the first mention of the steading here, which I guess is basically like the Ogier herd. Is that right? Like, is a steading just basically a herd? I guess I gotta wait until the glossary, but Oh, we kind of already talked about it earlier. The whole, what the heck? Like, what? Yeah, very abrupt, very, very subtle, very awesome. I love, yeah, I like this chapter a lot. The way everyone was bantering and whatnot. Let me just make sure. Oh, no, 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 that wasn't it. Wait, was it? Hold on. No, yeah, that was it. That was it. That was it. Oh, and then let's look at the chapter icon. Oh, the chapter icon is yet again the two ravens. Very interesting. I really, I'm not gonna lie. Marisu told me to pay attention to the chapter icons, and I have not really been paying attention to them too much as I've been like reading. But it is super. I am starting to wonder if it has something to do with like every time we see the two crows, the dark one is actually watching them, and we just don't know it. You know what I mean? But that's the way we know, is because the crows are there, is because, and that means that the dark one is watching them within that chapter. That would be freaking super dope. That would be super dope. Okay, let's jump into the chat. Let's see how you guys felt about chapter 42. This is a classic explanation chapter where everybody talks to each other. We won't get many of these. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was very much so. And that's kind of what I figured was going to happen. Was going to be one of those chapters where everyone kind of just talks to each other about the things that they've been doing. How do you guys feel about stuff like that? Like, in stories. In your stories, do you want to hear things twice, like in this way, or would you rather have it be like, and Rand told them of the events that happened, and then it'd be like someone, just starts talking and it's like, what, yo, that happened to us too, and we just kind of start from the point of everyone knowing the knowledge already? Or do you like having the discourse going back and forth? Or how do you just feel about those instances of us sharing knowledge? A rare moment of mutual communication and information sharing. Feel like the series might have been shorter if they did this often, or if someone gave Nynaeve a gun. I feel what you say. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, that was good. um. Oops. Okay. I love when Moiraine loses her patience with Loyal. Yeah, I really like that moment too. I really like that. I'm not gonna lie, because she was like, it showed that she already knows that the Ogier are going to be talking for a long time. She's like, damn, here we go. Reminds me of Flash from Zootopia. But just like a incredibly awesomer version. Or should I say an incredibly more awesome version. Tree singing sounds metaphorical until you see it. That's true. That's very true. I love how the Waygate plan comes up in this version of the story. It solves two problems: the need for speed, which we all have, and the need to escape an army that has them surrounded. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. And it's like, yo, we got a Ogier. And I remember thinking that as well. That's a good point, Marisu. Thank you for even bringing that up, because I do remember thinking that during the reading of, oh, wow, all the pieces are fitting together to make something else occur. You know, we need this to happen. Like, these are the things that are stopping us from doing what we need next. So what are we going to do? Oh my God, we have access to an Ogier now. Where are the ways? And then let's get to them. And now with the Ogier and with Moiraine, we can actually go through the ways. Like, yes, it was very much, it was like an equation chapter, to where they're giving you the problem, and then by the end of the chapter, you're like, the answer is 7. You know what I mean? The way Jordan does a recap here is well done and doesn't feel unnecessary. Oh, okay. It doesn't feel like unnecessary rehashing. I got you. That makes sense. Like, don't make it feel like we're just going through the motions. In this case, there's 600 pages of story to recap, so it's cathartic to hear our characters relay events to each other. It feels earned. You are very correct about that. It does feel earned. It feels like we should be having this time of everyone coming back together, and it feels more like a reunion than a catch up. And I think that's what makes it so powerful. Is it's the friends getting back together. It's not us catching up the story with all of the characters. Steadings are the Ogier's homes. That's where Perrin, Egwene, and Elias were before they got found by the White Cloaks. Okay. I'm with you. I got you. Everything coming together so conveniently for our heroes could be corny but Jordan built in an in-world excuse to do stuff like this. It's absolute genius. Yeah, that's very true, because we don't know about Loyal. And we don't know what Moiraine knows about Ogiers. So when we get them all together, it's like, hey, we can actually do it. That is a really good observation as well. Great observations tonight about this section. And we're only in the first chapter of this section. That's lovely. Yeah, Taviran is a genius story mechanic. The protagonist of any story is Taviran, but RJ made it part of the plot. Can you expand on that a little bit? I don't think I connected Taviran to this I don't know how those things connect together, Marisu. So can you kind of draw a couple lines for a brother? I want to see what you see. And I also really liked how Matt really still was not rocking with Loyal. That had me rolling. How he basically like side-eyed him and was like, bro, get up out of here, my boy. I don't want nothing to do with you, G. That actually had me rolling. I was like, no shot. What's going on here? The three boys being Tyverin means they heard about the threat to the eye from multiple sources while simultaneously giving them a way to quickly get to the eye. Being Tyverin is just a fancy way of saying you're a central person to the pattern to whom interesting things happen. It's basically as if being the main character was a superpower. Oh. Damn. That's actually insane. So the chosen one, yeah? Like the chosen ones. Okay, I see how those things coincide with each other. That's actually, yeah, that's actually peak. That's actually peak. I love that. And he does do a fantastic job at weaving the pattern. Damn. Taviran, what's the other, what does Marvel call them? Is it Nexus beings? Is that what it is? Damn. Being Taviran makes crazy coincidence more likely to happen. I understand. The wheel weaves. That's why it's always like the wheel weaves as the wheel weaves as the wheel wills. Good Jesus. Man, I don't know why that was so much, but it was. I love that. That's awesome. I'm ready. I'm freaking ready. All right, let's get into the next section.
Hi, my name is Dominique Pruitt, and I started Don's Bon Gourmet Popcorn LLC in the summer of 2021 to introduce delicious and unique flavored popcorn not found anywhere else in the world. Why, you ask? Because I make it in my home with love, just for you. We offer over 10 flavors and are continuously creating new flavors that can be customized to any color or taste for your next event, party, or fundraiser. So go find yourself to our website and find a bombastic flavor of popcorn at donsbombgourmetpopcorn.com, or you can also follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Don's Bomb Gourmet Popcorn.
That is right. Make sure y'all check out Dom's Bomb's Gourmet Popcorn. What a popcorn is always Dom, Bomb, Gourmet, and made by Dom. You know what I'm saying? Oops, I thought I had a link for it, but I don't. It's all good. Make sure y'all go tap in and go check her out and get you some of that fabulous popcorn. All right. Now, let's get into Whoa. Now, let's get into
Chapter 43. Decisions and Apparitions.
Decisions and Apparitions. Yo. What an insane chapter name. Another thing I say week after week, but yo, these chapter names are incredible. Honestly, they are just fantastic, and I am all the way here for it. I am all the way here for these chapter names. They're beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Where are my notes? Here we go. So, Moiraine says something in this chapter that had me a little interested because I had never heard. I don't know if I've heard of it before, and if I have heard of it, then I was just drawing a blank. But she said something about Blue Aja second view. Now, I have no idea what that means. Yeah, no idea what that means. And then something that I liked was the fact that Loyal said male Sedai. I don't know why I liked that, but I do like that, male Sedai. As to where the Aes Sedai are the females. I don't know why, but I just like the way that was said. And I don't think we ever heard that term before. And if we did, then I'm definitely drawing a huge blank. But I really loved those mentions. And then we also get a mention of a time of madness during the breaking of the world. And I don't recall a time of madness ever being mentioned either. And that is something that caught my attention so much. And the fact that it was said that it's during the breaking of the world is where it really caught my attention, because I'm like, okay, during the breaking of the world, what does that mean? You know, like, what does this mean? Where does this go to? Why haven't we heard this? So the world, what does that mean? So the world was breaking, and as the world breaking, a time of madness was occurring. So what happened? Tell me more, please. Like, was there lava involved? Like, I don't know. It raised so many. This is one of those chapters that raised a lot of questions for me as well. There was a talk of cities built for men, and the ways were grown from the men. Like, there was just so many so many things flying by. It was like, oh yeah, we built cities for men, and then the men were grown from, they were grown, and then steadings have way gates. It was just like, whoa, what's happening? Like, I was like, what's happening? Okay, I'm all the way here for it, but what's going on? And yeah, those were some really fast paced things that were kind of happening, but those were things that stood out to me. Was built cities for men. The ways were grown from them. All the steadings have way gates, and they're like connected to the male Sedai. So how did the ways get made by the men? Like, what? And then, did the ways grow dark because it was built from the male Sedai side of the one power? Like, is that why they went dark, or did they? I mean, I'm pretty sure this is answered in later chapters. But I'm just kind of saying these are my thoughts as I'm reading it. And then it was very interesting that they feared the sound of the wind. And then we got to see Egwene being determined, as usual. She is a very determined person. And then we also get to see that Nynaeve is being a very stubborn person as usual yet again. Like, good damn, Nynaeve, chill your ass out. And one thing that also stood out to me in chapter 43 about Perrin is how he's really a fight between two wolves inside of him. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that metaphor of, you know, there are two wolves in all of us, and the one that wins is the one that you feed. I feel like that is very much so Perrin's story. And I feel like he's trying to learn how to feed both of his wolves at the same time. And his personal self of who he is heavily fighting against the inner wolf that he has as well. So I am really, I love Perrin, and I want to know so much more about his story and about what it means and where it goes. And I hope we do get more from him, because he's just so interesting. He's just so interesting in a like brooding, dark, mysterious, I hate everyone, leave me alone type of way. But also don't leave me alone because I love you and I'm scared to be alone. Like, that's the type of vibe that he gives me all the time, and I'm here for it. And then, of course, man, we got Master Gil being the straight up homie. I love Master Gil. Like, and I think I only love Master Gil because I love Tom. But, you know, like, seeing Master Gil just immediately start rocking because Tom is his homie, like, to me, the way, like, this stuff that lines up in this book is the way, like, my life lines up all the time with stuff. It's always weird things going on like that. So, sense, you know, because that's how it goes. Like, interesting things always happen in my vicinity all the time. It just be like that, and it's dope to see these, like, it's dope to see other characters going through this wild randomization of the universe doing the things that the universe does, and then it affecting all these people around them so much so to where they're willing to risk their entire lives for them, you know? Like, that's what really had me, like, really rocking with my boy Master Gil.
Oh, my sisters won't know whether to laugh or cry.
Like, yeah, crazy.
Rand wished he could forget.
Oh. Oh. Boom. Whoa. Jesus, what's going on? Man, that was insane. Oh, oh, oh. There we go. Okay, here we go. Okay. Bam, here we go. All right. We have a dream sequence in this chapter as well. So we're definitely going to be jumping into that. You already know.
Laugh or cry. He sounded like the old Matt. Rand wished he could forget the dagger.
Page 626.
It was pitch black when he and Matt finally got up to their room under the eaves, the stars obscured by clouds. For the first time in a long while, Matt undressed before getting into bed, but he casually tucked the dagger under his pillow too. Rand blew out the candle and crawled into his own bed. He could feel the wrongness from the other bed, not from Matt, but from beneath his pillow. He was still worrying about it when sleep came. From the first, he knew it was a dream. One of those dreams that was not entirely dream. He stood staring at the wooden door, its surface dark and cracked and rough with splinters. The air was cold and dank, thick with the smell of decay. In the distance, water dripped, the splashes hollow echoes down stone corridors. Deny it. Deny him and his power fails. He closed his eyes and concentrated on the Queen's blessing, on his bed, on himself, asleep in his bed. When he opened his eyes, the door was still there. The echoing splashes came on his heartbeat as if his pulse counted time for them. He sought the flame and the void as Tam had taught him and found inner calm, but nothing outside of him changed. Slowly he opened the door and went in. Everything was as he remembered it in the room that seemed burned out of the living rock. Tall arched windows led onto an unrailed balcony, and beyond it the layered clouds streamed like a river in flood. The black metal lamps, their flames too bright to look at, gleamed, black, yet somehow as bright as silver. The fire roared, but gave no heat in the fearsome fireplace, each stone still vaguely like a face in torment. All was the same, but one thing was different. On the polished tabletop stood 3 small figures, the rough, featureless shapes of men, as if the sculptor had been hasty with his clay. Beside one stood a wolf, its clear detail emphasized by the crudeness of the man shape, and another clutched a tiny dagger, a point of red on the hilt, glittering in the light. The last held a sword. The hair stirring on the back of his neck, he moved close enough to see the heron, in exquisite detail on that small blade. His head jerked up in panic, and he stared directly into the lone mirror. His reflection was still a blur, but not so misty as before. He could almost make out his own features. If he imagined he was squinting, he could nearly tell who it was. "You've hidden from me too long." He whirled from the table, breath rasping his throat. A moment before he had been alone, but now Baalzamon stood before the windows.
Goddamn Baalzamon.
When he spoke, caverns of flame replaced his eyes and mouth. "Too long, but not much longer." "I deny you," Rand said hoarsely. "I deny that you hold any power over me. I deny that you are." Baalzamon laughed, a rich sound rolling from fire. "Do you think it is that easy? But then you always did. Each time we have stood like this, you have thought you could defy me." "What do you mean, each time? I deny you." "You always do. In the beginning. This contest between us has taken place countless times before. Each time your face is different and your name, but each time it is you.
Oh my God.
I deny you! It was a desperate whisper. Each time you throw your puny strength against me, and each time, in the end, you know which of us is the master. Age after age you kneel to me, or die, wishing you still had strength to kneel. Poor fool. You can never win against me. Liar! He shouted. Father of lies! Father of fools! If you can't do better than that! Men found you in the last age, in the age of legends, and bound you back where you belong! Baalzamon laughed again, peal after mocking peal, until Rand wanted to cover his ears to shut it out. He forced his hands to stay at his sides. Void or no, they were trembling when the laughter finally stopped. You worm, you know nothing at all. As ignorant as a beetle under a rock, and as easily crushed. This struggle has gone on since the moment of creation. Always men think it a new war, but it is just the same war discovered anew. Only now change blows on the winds of time. Change. This time there will be no drifting back. Those proud Aes Sedai who think to stand you up against me, I will dress them in chains and send them running naked to do my bidding, or stuff their souls into the pit of doom to scream for eternity. All but those who already serve me. They will stand but a step beneath me. You can choose to stand with them, with the world groveling at your feet. I offer it one more time. One last time. You can stand above them, above every power and dominion but mine. There have been times when you made that choice, times when you lived long enough to know your power. Deny him? Rand grabbed hold to what he could deny. No Aes Sedai serve you! Another lie! Is that what they told you? 2,000 years ago, I took my Trollocs across the world.
Is that what they
and
told
even among
you?
Aes Sedai, I found those who knew despair, who knew the world could not stand before Shaitan. For 2,000 years, the Black Aja has dwelt among the others, unseen in the shadows. Perhaps even those who claim to help you. Rand shook his head, trying to shake away the doubts that came welling up in him, all the doubts he had had about Moraine, about what the Aes Sedai wanted with him, about what she planned for him. What do you want from me? He cried. Deny him. Light, help me deny him. Kneel. Baalzamon pointed to the floor at his feet. Kneel and acknowledge me your master. In the end you will. You will be my creature, or you will die. The last word echoed through the room, reverberating back on itself, doubling and redoubling, till Rand threw up his arms as if to shield his head from a blow. Staggering back until he thumped into the table, he shouted, trying to drown the sound in his ears, No! As he cried out, he spun, sweeping the figures to the floor. Something stabbed his hand, but he ignored it, stomping the clay to shapeless smears underfoot. But when his shout failed, the echo was still there, and growing stronger. Die, 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 die! The sound pulled on him like a whirlpool, drawing him in, ripping the void in his mind to shreds. The light dimmed and his vision narrowed down to a tunnel with Baalzamon standing tall in the last spot of brightness at the end, dwindling until it was the size of his hand. A fingernail. Nothing. Around and around the echo whirled him, down into blackness and death. The thump as he hit the floor woke him, still struggling to swim up out of that darkness. The room was dark, but not so dark as that. Frantically, he tried to center on the flame, to shovel fear into it, but the calm of the void eluded him. Tremors ran down his arms and legs, but he held the image of the single flame until the blood stopped pounding in his ears. Matt was...
Oh my God. Oh man. Yo, crazy. Man. That man Balazamov, yo, he is not playing, yo. You gotta watch out for Balzaman, yo. Balzaman. Yo, he is not playing. That's crazy. That's just insane, man. The way he can get into everyone's head so easily is fantastic. A lot of questions I have though going into this little segment. But I love that the Dark One remembers. That's one thing that really stands out so much more to me in the books versus than the show. Is because in the books, it's like, no, he remembers everything. You know, like, he remembers what's going on. He knows what's happening. And I think it just works so well. And also, all of this stuff, we never saw Baalzaman one time in the show, I don't think. Like, when we thought it was Baalzaman, it was actually Ishmael. So, that finesse was crazy right there. And I don't know if that same finesse is coming in here. But... it was just crazy to see that he's like, no, man, we've done this 1,000 times before. And I love the fact that Matt is like, you are the father of lies, the father of fools. Like, I love that. I don't know why, but it just hits. He's not going to give in. He's not going to let it just be. He's not giving up without a fight. And it just rocks and works so well. And the fact that the Dark One mentions the Black Aja in the way that he does is also so bone chilling. It just shows how easily manipulated people can be in the face of, taking a small bit of truth and mixing it with something that, your own agenda, basically. That is the basis of manipulation, is like, hey, I'm going to take these things that are definitely true and definitely happened, and I'm going to weave them together perfectly with my own story to make you believe what I want you to believe, Like, yes, I just love it, man. It's like damn near perfect for me. And then the fact that we come out of the dream and we are immediately hit with Matt's POV. Oh my gosh. And Matt's like, bro, I wasn't as Matt immediately lets us know that he is not as strong as our boy is. He started talking to that man. He was doing what bro was telling him to do. Like, bro, no. Like, what are you Matt, what are you doing? What do you mean you picked up the pieces that he told you to? Why would you do that, Matt? Why would you do that? That's immediately what I was thinking. I was like, wait, are we not going to talk about this more? And then Rand was like, you have to deny him. And then he's like, I tried. So that means you didn't win. If you tried, that means past tense, as in you tried and did not succeed. You tried to do it, but you failed. What happened after you failed is what I want to know. What happened at that point? And then we get a fire quote coming from Moiraine. And I feel like I wish I heard this one a little bit more. What is already woven cannot be undone. That is a beautiful quote right there. It is just fantastic. It's like saying it is what it is, but in such a more methodical and emotional way. And I just love that. I love that. Oh. And the fact that there was like a leaf key to get into the ways, awesome. Like, that's amazing. Why didn't we hear more about this leaf key before? Why hasn't it been used more? I had a lot, like, that was dope. That was dope. I loved the leaf key. And the fact that it seemed like I thought you needed the one power in order to use that, but something that happens later throws a wrench in that. So remind me when we get to that part later to talk about, you know, that leaf key when it's time. And the horses hated the ways. I love that too. The horses are like, yo, nah, this ain't it. You know, we also get the horses' POVs here, of course, and he's like, nah, get me out of here. And I love the fact that Loyal's like, yo, I've never been in, just like you humans haven't, but the people that I've seen come back from the ways are never the same. They are never the same. And then it brought me a lot of joy that Tam's teachings brought Rand comfort in his time of need, in his time of, you know, facing these crazy obstacles that were going on. Oh wait, did I go into the next part? I know when I was writing my notes, I forgot to make a bridge for chapter 24 or chapter 44. So I actually don't know where that comes in at. I don't really remember chapter 40. Well, I remember it, but I didn't write anything down about it. I think it's one of the shorter chapters. Yeah, I don't think anybody. I don't think anything too much happened in that chapter, but we'll talk about it, of course. All right, let's jump into chat. How did you guys feel about chapter 43? Let's see what y'all guys was talking. Harriet is credited with coming up with the chapter name. She done good. Is that his wife or is that someone different? Because I remember you guys telling me that before. Isn't it his publicist that's also his wife? Is that what it is that came up with the chapter names? Fantastic. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you have like an outline for your books or whatever. Because like my guy, I don't know how you're able to he's just free flowing bars like insane. Blue Aja's second view means she believes the Ogier sheltering men who could channel during the breaking helped limit the destruction and was a good thing. Okay, that's also what I was thinking. I mean, I know that was said, but I didn't know if that was the only thing that meant. Like, so I guess, like, is the opposite the ones with the first view? Or the Red Aja believed that the Ogier sheltering the male Aes Sedai prolonged the breaking and the time of madness and was a bad idea. Oh. I see. That makes sense. So, is the Red Aja first view? Whoa. Is the Red Aja first view? Or can there be Red Ajas that have second views and Blue Ajas that have first views? Or are the views also inherently tied to said Aja? The time of madness was the period that the male Aes Sedai went crazy from the backlash of the Dark One tainting the male half of the One Power, where they destroyed stuff randomly. Okay, and I think this is one thing that I did not... This is one thing I don't think that the show translates very well. Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious because we really don't even know about like the whole ending of what happened with our boy Luce Theron. From the show's point of view, basically, like we haven't seen the cold open moment yet, so that knowledge is not really on us all fully. But from my point of view, I fully did not think that. I didn't even think about the male channelers that went evil from the breaking when the breaking happened. I don't know if I thought like when the breaking happened, all the male Aes Sedai just died off, or if they all just got murdered by the Red Aja, or they just started getting. I don't know what I thought, but for some reason, I never connected the dots that they were still alive and doing shit the entire time. Like the breaking happened, and then they were still alive. They were still being, tainted. Their taint wasn't cleansed. They had a dirty taint, and they was out there, using that dirty taint for evil. And that's never good. That is never good. But I think that's another beautiful thing that is set up within this book. I didn't even know. Aes Sedai lived for hundreds of years, including the men who went mad after Luce Theron fought the Dark One. Yes, see, I'm so confused. I didn't even know that he fought did he fight the Dark One before he went crazy and broke the world? Is that how it happens? Was there like a fight between the Dark One and Luce Theron, and then Luce Theron killed his family and then broke the world? Is that the order of events? Is it fight Dark One, kill family, break world? Is that it? Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3? Or is it like 2, 1, 3? Or 3, 1, 2? It lasted for over 100 years. And those men weren't untrained wretches the Red Aja hunt down today. They were fully trained Aes Sedai. Okay, I get it, because the Aes Sedai we already know that they inherently live longer from, like Moiraine being old but not old. Okay, so the same thing goes for the male Aes Sedai. So once the world broke, they were still alive for dumbass long, even the younger ones and the older ones. I got you. I'm fully on. I believe that I am fully on board now, and I fully understand everything in the universe that there is to know. And the answer is 42. The male Aes Sedai who the Ogier sheltered in the steading used the one power to grow the ways in between steading, and they became dark because of the taint. And then said darkness made the ways dark as well. Like the ways got tainted with the male Sedai. Is that a fact, or? Yeah, I saw that and I like that. I'm wondering what Moiraine's thinking about Tom being alive, is how that's gonna fare, because I mean our boy Master Gil said that already. So now we have two people saying that, and we definitely didn't see him die. The dagger is gonna hang around like a bad penny? Nah, that's crazy. The best lies contain mostly truth. Ooh. Yes, that's true, because all you got to do is just tell the truth, and then just be like, now, if all that is true, wouldn't you think that? Evil bastards. Father of fools! Matt in the background, sick burn, bro. Facts. Matt's ADHD. Oh, that's crazy. The Showway Gate is combined with something else from Book 2 that requires the one power. We'll talk about it when we get to Book 2. Noted. I like that, because I'm definitely interested in why the Waygate was so different, because I'm like, wait, the Waygate from the book versus the Waygate from the show are not the same thing, like because Moiraine uses the one power to open the way gate in the show, and in the book she like used a leaf that like floated so much. I don't know. Harriet's his wife and editor. Oh, okay. Kind of like what Remy is for me. LOL Jinx. Facts. If Red Aja didn't agree with the view of the Ogier, If a Red Aja didn't agree with the view that the Ogier did a bad thing by sheltering the male Sedai, she wouldn't tell anyone because her fellow Reds would beat her ass. Oh, okay. So red is 1 and blue is 2. That's it. I got you. Not evil. Insane. There is a difference. I feel you. Lutheran faced the Dark One, sealing his prison. As the seal was placed, the Dark One tainted the male half, immediately driving the men there insane. Other men slowly descended into madness. Since the ways were grown with the tainted male half, the taint caused them to grow dark and dangerous. Okay. So I'm all the way. I got you. I got it, man. That's freaking awesome. That is so dope. Okay. And then the other male Sedai got the dark friends or whatever they're called, right? Like the 12 baddies or the 6 baddies, however many there are. They also sealed them up. I think that's more waffle, so I'll chill out asking those questions because my brain is starting to move. I'm trying to stay within the realm of where we are and not go too far out. Since the ways were grown with the, oh yeah, I just read that. Yeah. I am vibing with it. That sounds insanely amazing, and I am so excited. I'm so excited to continue this story. For real. Okay, now let's talk about
Chapter 44. The Dark Along the Ways.
the dark along the ways. Now, like I said, I think I like blacked out, or I was like helping my kids or something. I don't know. Something happened because right here I did not do a chapter 44. So I think when I was talking about the ways, I don't know where that was. I don't know, but let's talk about it. I gotta actually look in the book now because I didn't write any notes down for this specific chapter. A chapter type. Oh, let me bam. Okay, they all get on their horses. The light illumine you. Master Gillen Moiraine talking. My guy Loyal gotta have a damn unicorn that he can ride because my boy is big as hell. How is he even riding a horse? Like, what is the weight limit on these horses, y'all? Oh, excuse me. I believe right here, someone asked him, "How do you know where it's at?" And he was like, "I just know." It like pulled towards him or something. I really appreciated that too, about how like he just knows where it is innately because of, you know, how it was how it happened and how they were born, I guess. Oh, and then Loyal starts set tripping because of how everything looks. Okay, so maybe this is where it was chapter 44 because trees used to be there. And he was furious. Yeah, so what is woven? Yeah, what is woven quote is from this chapter. So I just forgot to break it in my notes. But yeah, what is already woven cannot be undone is what Moiraine says, and I think that is just so powerful, yo, and just such a good quote. Such a good quote. And it just really I think this book has crazy quotes, man. Like the quotes in this book can be so are multi-faced. Basically, you can look at it in so many different ways rather than just what it is on in for face value, basically. And then this is also where we get the leaf falling off of the leaf off the tree to get into the thing. And then the horses they jump into the ways. They are not fans of the ways. No one's really fans of the waves when they get in there. This moment also kind of reminded me of was it that what was that the season finale or almost the season finale of season 2 when they're going through the city looking for the way gate within the city that they're in with the not the witch lady but the head Aes Sedai in charge. Amerlin Seat, that's what it is. Damn. The wheel turns faster in the waves. I love it, yo. Oh, and this is where Loyal says, "You would not speak so confidently if you had ever been in the ways." The normal distant thunder of Loyal's voice was muted. He stared at the blackness as if he saw things there. "I have never been before either, but I've seen Ogier who have been through the Waygate and come out again. You would not speak so if you had." Matt stepped through the gate and regained normal speed. Like, oh man, so fire. For an instant, he stared at the seemingly endless darkness, then came running to join them, his lantern bobbing on its pole, his horse leaping behind him, almost sending him sprawling. One by one, the others passed through. Perrin and Egwene and Nynaeve, each pausing in shocked silence before hurrying to join the rest. Each lantern enlarged the pool of light, but not as much as it should have. It was as if the dark became denser the more light there was, thickening as it fought against being diminished. Heat, baby. Heat. Like, we are just cooking. Oh, and then we see Ogier's script, but so broken I can barely make it out. And I was like, yo, what? That's awesome. Like, so the Ogier was really like traveling through the ways, like big chilling. And then they pull up to the bridge, and it's no more bridge. No more bridge on the other side. And that's kind of where that chapter ends. I believe that is where that chapter ends. So really not too much stuff kind of going on. I think it's also said that a day traveling through the ways can get you basically anywhere. Not in the world, but anywhere in that portion, which is awesome. And it's just insane that it's like, what? It's so dope, but at the same time, it's like they built a hyperspace highway Like, what? It's a little confusing, but I believe it is supposed to be left confusing purposefully for the sake of, like, mysticism, I guess. And I'm here for it. Don't get me wrong, but it threw me off. The explanation threw me off a little bit. But I like that it threw me off, but I think it only throws me off because the two things that we know little to nothing about, and all of the things that we know little to nothing about, are the Ogiers and the male Sedai. So it's like introducing something that contains the two things that we know the least about was a dope idea, because it leaves us like confused, but with more information of the world and lore, and then it leaves us with questions. So, ding, ding, ding. You know what I mean? It handles that very well. So, on one hand, I'm like, bro, what? But on the other hand, I'm like, bro, what? Like, yeah, I'm here. We're here. Let's go. Chapter title so good, they used it for the show. RJ is a good metaphysical creepiness. Is good at metaphysical creepiness. The way he describes the pathways twisting around until you have this eerie feeling you're right above where you just were. Yeah, that's very true. Definitely putting it together insane and making it just like, oh, you're right. It does feel very eerie. I think that's the best word for it. Is it gives you just this type of vibe of, have I been here, and am I supposed to be here at the same time? You know? Am I supposed to be here? Have I been here before? Like, you know, it's like, yo, oh yeah, I love it. I love it. Loyal needs a Xanax. He definitely needs a Xanax, or at least half of one. Now he probably need 2 for his body size. You know what I'm saying? Ogier gets sick over time when they leave their steading. The ways were meant to give them a way to travel directly from steading to another. Oh, okay, and that's why they kept talking about the longing with Loyal. I understand. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Damn. That's actually insane. All right, let's get it going. Let's keep it moo. Oh man, excuse me. You know what I think I need? Some glitch energy. I am Sensei Fito, aka Vane Sensei, and I'm here with my bro.
Yo, y'all already know it's Vane DeVito, bro. We up in here, man. Today we came with a little surprise for y'all, which was a little surprise for us as well.
Facts.
And we've been waiting on this surprise. So y'all see it.
You feel me?
Little delivery box.
We got the little box
You know what I mean?
from none other than Glitch Energy, yo.
Yo, big glitch out here. You know what I'm saying?
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it like a sauce, shake it like a glitch, shake it like a glitch, shake it like a shake it.
We in there.
Ooh, it smell dumbass good.
Fire? Ooh.
This is the starter kit. I believe it starts at $15. We got the shaker, 5 flavors. I'm not sure if that's how it comes. That's what they sent to us. So we definitely appreciate that. But y'all definitely check it out. Tell us what your favorite flavor is if you've already tried it.
I'm on go, mode, I'm on go mode. Go mode, bitch, I'm on go mode. Go mode.
Make sure you use code VAIN on Glitch Energy to get 15% off yo Glitch Energy. You feel me? Tap in, make sure you use the code. It's delicious, and it'll give you that boost you need for that, you know, when you ain't trying to, you know, snooze off. All right. Let's get it poppin'. It is now time for
Chapter 45. What follows in shadow.
I know, Mari Sue, you said this was your favorite chapter, and this was an amazing chapter indeed. I had a really good time with this one. First thing I said was, here 9 goes. Like, that's the first thing I wrote down. Nynaeve definitely started tripping, as she does, was going off. But something else that really stood out to me was Rand and Loyal are best buds. And I love that they are good best buddies. It makes me so happy. It's so dope to see that they're like best buds. And interesting to me that the show made kind of Perrin and Loyal best buds instead. And that goes into something that I say a little bit later, but it was just something that I like to see them kind of discussing with each other. You can show me your stead, and then I'll show you the 2 rivers. And he was like, oh, you really think we're going to get that far, huh? Like, yo, Loyal had me low-key shook in this chapter. I was like, oh, shit. That shit just got real. Hashtag you feel the taint. It's crazy, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. It's just crazy the way that we just, you know, what's going on here. But, and then I think this is where Moiraine mentions that she believes that Tam is alive. And then they even mention Min possibly seeing Tam, and I was like, yo, she saw Tam in the you know, like, what? How did that happen? Like, how did that happen? What's going on there? Did we know that? Like, I don't know if we did. And also, we finally get that mention of Min again. And then we also get a mention of old barriers. I'm not sure what it was in context to completely, but there's definitely a mention of old barriers of some kind. And I was like, interesting. What does this have to do with stuff? And then we get the thing that I'm pretty sure Marisu loves the most about this chapter. Is we get everyone throwing everyone under the bus, and it was hilarious. We get Perrin throwing. I was rolling. Egwene was like, who is that? Who is this? Who is that? Egwene was going off on Rand. Rand was defending himself, and then Perrin comes from left field for his boy. Like, wait a minute. Who is this? Who is that? What about while you was dancing with the Tinker guy? Like, and then Matt like catches on to what Perrin is doing, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, and what about this girl and this girl?" Like, the game of tit and tat that Perrin and Matt were playing, they were being so petty, and it was hilarious. And Egwene is super jealous, and I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. I think that's also something that we didn't get to see in the show. I think the show tried very hard to not make Egwene seem quote unquote girly. Is that safe to say? I think so, because I feel like the book gives us those moments to let us know that Egwene is very quote unquote girly. You know, like Nynaeve not so much. But Egwene obviously is like she is. You know, you can just the way that she's written and the way that she does certain things, her outlook, the way that she follows the other women around her. She is very much like a girl. I don't know what else to say about that. Like, and Nynaeve is very much like, man, let's make shit happen. You know, Nynaeve is a lot more blunt and brunt, but she's still very. Is it like girly versus womanly? Is that like the terms that I don't think those are the terms that I'm looking for, but it's like Egwene is more naive a little bit about things and very much and a lot more brash about the thing that's going on. She doesn't have that control over herself fully yet. And Nynaeve just doesn't give a damn. You know what I mean? Like Nynaeve is very much, I don't give a how you feel. Like, I don't give a how you feel. Why would I give a how you feel? Tell me why. If you can give me a reason why I should give a I will. You know what I'm saying? That's just very much how she is. Just, what the who you think, you know what I mean? And I like that. I like that. But we just see them in very different lights, and I appreciate that. And I don't think that the not the book, but not the show, but yeah, I don't think the show gave us that same type of Egwene. I think the Egwene that we got from the show is a lot more, you know, influenced and all these other things that are there. And I like that, though. I like the differences. It shows us a different character, and we get to get a different view of her as well. And it's just really funny. That had me rolling. It just had me rolling how they were playing tit for tat with each other, and like, it made me also realize how many female role model, womanly, loving, protective females that Rand came across in his journey. Like, there was a shit ton. Even when that family, like the husband and wife, basically finessed them into doing labor for him, the wife was still like, you know, you can go, you can go, and it's just kind of been very interesting to me that has been there, and I don't know if that's done purposefully, but it very much feels to me like every woman that Rand comes in contact with does give him that motherly attention that he doesn't have, and that he never really had in his life, even not having his birth mom or his adoptive mom. You know what I mean? Not having either of those moms with him fully growing up. And now he's in this second portion of him growing up, and he's meeting all of these motherly characters that are helping to shape him into a better man, for real. And it's kind of dope to see that happen. And it's kind of, I don't know, you know, when he's around the queen, he's like, oh, maybe I should act like this, but it's actually doing things to his actual character of who he is. And I think that's just, it's dope. It's dope. I was here for it. And then we get this gem of a term dropped as well in this chapter, easily erect. Freaking crazy. And then we talk about the Trolloc ruins, and I love it, yo. I love the Trolloc ruins and how there are, like, it's like as we went through the ways, a story was told, a story of amazingness and how beautiful the ways were started off, and we get the Ogier script on the walls and all of this going on, and then we get to the bridge. And once we get to that bridge, we then cross into the darker side of what the ways truly is. And I think even at a moment, someone was like, oh, I thought this was going to be way worse, or something along the lines of that. And then we kind of get to a moment where it was like, well, here you go, buddy. You asked for it. And I just really, it stood out. It stood out so much that our characters are very much, they're very consumed by the environment that they are in. And it just, So yeah, I'm here for that. I'm here for that. Um, but yeah, and then going into the Trolloc ruins, like we start with Ogier script in the walls, and then we kind of not end with, but then we get to Trolloc ruins, and I'm pretty sure the Trolloc also had stuff in the walls or something. Like what? And then we find out that the leaf key is gone for our next entrance that we were trying to get to. Excuse me. Um, did I miss something? The key's gone. Oh, the wind. The wind. The black wind. That's what I missed. I was like, I'm missing something, right? How did I miss that? Because I remember it caught my attention when reading it. I guess I didn't write notes on it. Um, Here we go. I love this part. Suddenly he blinked. Loyal, didn't you say there isn't any wind in the ways? Loyal pulled his horse up just short of the next island and cocked his head to listen. Slowly his face paled, and he licked his lips. Machin Shin, he whispered hoarsely. The black wind. The light illumine and protect us. It's the black wind. How many more bridges? Moiraine asked sharply. Loyal, how many more bridges? 2. I think 2. Quickly then, she said, trotting Aldib onto the island. Find it quickly. Loyal talked to himself, or to anyone who was listening while he read the guiding. They came out mad, screaming about Machin Shin. Light, help us. Even those Aes Sedai could heal. He scanned the stone hastily and galloped toward the chosen bridge with a shouted, This way! This time, Moiraine did not wait to check. She urged them on to a gallop, the bridge trembling beneath the horses, lanterns swinging widely overhead. Loyal ran his eyes over the next guiding and wheeled his big mount around around like a racer almost before it had stopped. The sound of the wind became louder. Rand could hear it, even the pounding of the hooves on stone behind them, and gusting closer. They did not bother with the last guiding. As soon as the light of the lanterns caught the white line running from it, they swung in that direction, still galloping. The island vanished behind, and there was only the pitted gray stone underfoot and the white line. Rand was breathing so hard he was no longer sure if he could hear the wind. Out of the darkness the gates appeared, vine-carved and standing alone in the black like a tiny piece of wall in the night. Moiraine leaned out of her saddle, reaching toward the carvings, and suddenly pulled back. The Avendesora leaf is not here, she said. The key is gone. Light! Matt shouted. Bloody light! Loyal threw back his head and gave a mournful cry, like a howl of dying. Egwene touched Rand's arm. Her lips trembled, but she only looked at him. He put his hand on top of hers, hoping he did not look more frightened than she did. He felt it. Back toward the guiding, the wind howled. He almost thought he could hear voices in it. Voices screaming vileness that, even half understood, brought bile up in his stomach. Moiraine raised her staff, and flame lanced from the end of it. It was not the pure white flame that Rand remembered from Eamon's Field and the battle before Shadar Logath. Sickly yellow streaked through the fire, and slow drifting flecks of black like soot. A thin, acrid smoke drifted from the flame, setting Loyal coughing, and the horses dancing nervously. But Moiraine thrust it at the gates. The smoke rasped Rand's throat and burned his nose. Stone melted like butter, leaf and vine withering in the flame and vanishing. The Aes Sedai moved the fire as fast as she could, but cutting an opening big enough for everyone to get through was no quick task. To Rand, it seemed as if the line melted stone crept along its arc at a snail's pace. His cloak stirred as if caught by the edge of the breeze, and his heart froze. Bruh, like, are we joking now? Like, this is so fire. Like, quite literally. I don't know why we didn't have the staff in the show. So wild that we didn't get to see these things with the staff happen. Like, I guess they didn't want her just like standing there with the staff, I guess. I don't know, but I would have loved to see the one power be like channeled into the staff. That's basically how it seems. Like, it seems like she's using the staff as a conduit to channel the power to make her just a little bit stronger. Like, bruh. Yes. yes, a quadrillion times yes. This is freaking amazing. Fire. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's just fire. Oh, I didn't even know I didn't even notice. Oh, yes, I did. Never mind. And Moiraine just being like, all right, well, there's a lot worse to be faced, so, you know, let's keep it moving. Like, after all of that, like, you're like, yeah, we still aren't, this was nothing, yo. We got a lot more to do, sugar lips, so let's keep it pushing. Freaking crazy. But that is the end of that chapter, the end of chapter 45. Tell me how you guys felt about chapter 45. Love this chapter. The worst part about the show is how it abridges friendships. Yeah, that's another thing that I had noted here. I put crazy how they spread out Rand's journey with the other people. Like that's so weird. Like, I don't know why it seems so weird to me, but it is. Like, why did you do that? Was there a reason for it? I don't think so. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Loyal is just sincere and kind. What a wholesome character. Yeah, sincere, kind, and blunt, and I appreciate that. Those are three really good qualities. Egwene is a sponge. She's like having a role model. She likes having a role model to emulate, and usually that's older women. Yeah, that's very true. Egwene has tact. Nynaeve doesn't know the definition of tact. Yeah. She's like, tact? What is that tact you speak of? I spit in the face of tact. One woman tried to stab him. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right, Marisu. You're right, that did happen. That definitely did. Yeah. You are definitely right. Forgot about her. Can't all be winners. Can't all be winners. Rand absolutely gives off lost little boy who needs a mom vibes. For real. Poor guy. He's like, will you be my mom? Will you be my mom? I was surprised you didn't mention bobbing on their poles earlier. Too easy. No, I'm just playing. I really, it was just like, come on, G. There's too many. It just happens everywhere. There's also something following them. Gollum from the Lord, from the... Yeah, that's right. There is something following them. I thought that was in the next chapter when that comes up, but you're right. That is in this chapter. And they're like, oh, that's how they started removing. I like how in the show though, they have their hint. They give you hints that it's Pat Fane. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they gave that. I mean, it's hard to give a hint in a book like that, but the hint that they gave in the show was him whistling, and he whistles basically everywhere he is. And if you like hear the whistle, you can hear him. If you look in the background, you can see him kind of following them along the way. That was a nice touch. I really liked that. I was like, ooh, let's go. That was a really dope part about the show. Really like that, for real. Okay, and now let's get into Chap. Oh, and now let's get into. Oops, damn.
Chapter 46. Faldara.
Man. Yet another good chapter coming in here. Yet another good chapter coming in here. This might be my favorite chapter, maybe in this section, but I'm not entirely sure. But we realize that we find out quickly, that we're in Lan's home. That's kind of like the first thing that that we see is like Lan sees a place that's familiar, basically, and then they just keep, calling. They keep talking about how cold it is. They start figuring out that they're in the borderlands of they're in Shinar, the borderlands, and as they're saying, like, it's super cold, he's like, oh, yeah, you're cold? Well, guess what? You'll be warm in the blight, buddy. So don't complain too much longer. And they were like, damn. I was like, oh, nah, Lan is ill for that. Like, why did he do that? Lan's cold, bro. He was like, oh, you're cold? You won't be much longer when we go into the gates of hell. Like, bruh, why would you say that? I'm just saying I'm a little chilly, my guy. Like, yeah, that was crazy. Excuse me. And then I love how Egwene and Nynaeve noticed that the curtains in the windows, like are the reason why people are there, and then Perrin uses his wolf senses to see that. I really like that. I was like, oh, that's lit. Excuse me. Oh, and then we have Nynaeve finally, showing a little love, calling the boys men, and then I think it was Matt that was like, she called us men. She was like, you boys, you men. They were like, she called us men. Let's go. Like yeah, let's go. And Rand obviously wanting to keep everyone safe. He's like, yo, you guys go. You go away. Super crazy that they split everyone up so much more in the show. Like, we definitely were not all together at this point. Well, yes, we were, but we weren't because Matt had already left at this point in the show. Matt stayed out. Matt didn't even go into the Blight with us in the show. Egwene obviously apologizes for all the stuff. And Rand is like, yeah. And then they start entering. Oh. Yo, I love the borders on the maps. I needs me a map maker for real. But as we enter into Shine Rar, everyone is like, yo, they're yelling at Lan like, yo, die shot. And we also get a mention of the Golden Crane again. And I don't know if you guys remember, I was like, yo, what was going on with the Golden Crane last week? And you guys told me more about the Golden Crane. And let me actually flip back to those notes real quick. Because what was it called? It was the... Because there was 3 of them. Oh, yeah. The golden... Oh, no. Those were the golden bees. Not the golden crane. Okay. Yeah, it was the golden bees, the 3 white crescent, and the rising sun. Okay, so that has nothing to do with this. That has nothing to do with this golden crane. Interesting. And then they were also yelling at Loyal, glory to the builders. Glory to the builders. Glory to the builders. Like, bro, yeah. I love it. I love how sanctified they are and holy. Like, people are like, yeah, bro, we love them. And something that also really stood out to me is we get like one of the first uses of another tongue and it being understood by more than one person. You know what I mean? Like multiple people understood it. We met I don't know if we had met the king dude already, but at this, I think we met the king dude at this point, but we get Lan, the king dude, and Loyal, and I think Moiraine even, they all start speaking this other language, and I was like, bro, this is awesome. I like that. It had me really... I thought I marked it down, but I didn't. That's my bad. And then the king is basically like, bruh, things are going bad. We need your help, Lan. And Lan's like, ha, ha, ha. If you only knew the half of it, brother. Things are going way worse than you know. And then they're at war in Shinar because they are basically like the first defense against the Blight. And it's like, bruh. Like, they are at war. And then they mentioned how they were going to be fighting the battle there. There's going to be another battle fought. And I was like, oh, so it's going to be like... So the two battles that we got from Season 1 finale is them trying to pay homage to the two battles that we get in this, maybe? And, you know, that's kind of what I started thinking. So I'm hoping that's kind of what we do here. I think that'll be really awesome if that's what we get to do. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. And then, right here, I just have...
The country around the Waygate was rolling.
It right here in quotes, I just have... Who the fuck is the green man? They talk about the green man so much, and I was just like, who the fuck is this? Who is this? And it just had me rolling because I forgot about that. I just wrote it down. Just, who the fuck is green man? Bruh, I was definitely a little confused about that one. Not gonna lie to you. I was like, bro, what? I was, yeah.
There is a different beauty and simplicity in a single line placed just so, a single flower among the rocks. The harshness of the stone makes the flower more precious. We try not to dwell too much on what is gone. The strongest heart will break under that strain. The rose petal floats on water, Lan recited softly. The kingfisher flashes above the pond. Life and beauty swirl in the midst of death. Yes, Agomar said. Yes, that one has always symbolized the whole of it to me, too.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Such powerful words coming from our boy Lan. So much so everybody was like, damn, bro just dropped heat on us. What just happened? Nobody was ready. Nobody knew what was going to go down, and Lan just came through with the super hot fire right there, and I just really appreciated that. And it was like, man, yeah, I didn't know what we was about to get cracking on here, but I was like, yo, I had the same feeling that Rand did, like, Lan reciting poetry? And then I also loved how they all had different names for Paden Fane. They were like, Paden Fane, the peddler, the beggar. I was like, oh, snap. They all, like, it's all coming together yet again. You know what I was? It was all coming together yet again. And I was like, yes, sir, let's get it.
Ingtar appeared and bowed to Lord Agelmar. Your pardon, Lord, but you wanted to know of anything out of the ordinary, however small. Yes, what is it? A small thing, Lord. A stranger tried to enter the town.
Small thing, Lord.
Not of Shinar. By his accent, a Lugarder. Sometimes, at least. When the South Gate guards attempted to question him, he ran away. He was seen to enter the forest, but only a short time later, he was found, scaling the wall. A small thing. Agelmar's chair scraped across the floor as he stood. Peace! The Tower Watch is so negligent. A man can reach the walls unseen, and you call it a small thing?
Yo.
He is a madman, Lord. See to this. Perhaps he is only a pitiful wretch with his mind blinded by the light, but 2 days gone, 5 of our own people were found in the night, trying to saw through the hinges of a horse gate. Small, but enough to let Trollocs in. He grimaced. Dark friends, I suppose, though I hate to think it of any Shinaran. They were torn to pieces by the people before the gods could
It
take
was like,
them.
oh, you trying to get
So
us
I'll never
killed?
know.
Well, you're dead, buddy.
If Shinarans can be dark friends, I must be especially careful of Outlanders in these days. If you wish to withdraw, I will have you shown to your rooms. Dark friends know neither border nor blood, Moraine said. They are found in every land and are of none. I too am interested in seeing this man. The pattern is forming a web, Lord Agelmar, but the final shape of the web is not yet set. It may yet entangle the world or unravel and set the wheel to a new weaving. At this point, even small things can change the shape of the web. At this point, I am wary of small things out of the ordinary. Agelmar glanced at Nynaeve and Egwene. As you wish, Aes Sedai. Ingtar returned, with 2 guards carrying long bills and escorting a man who looked like a rag bag turned inside out. Grime layered his face and matted his scraggly, uncut hair and beard. He hunched into the room, sunken eyes
They
darting
did
this way
Brug
and that.
dirty.
A rancid smell wafted ahead of him. Rand sat forward intently, trying to see through all the dirt.
You've no cause to be holding me like this,
the filthy man whined.
I'm only a poor destitute, abandoned by the light and seeking a place like everyone else to shelter from the shadow.
The borderlands are a strange place to seek,
Shelter from the shadow.
Agilmar began, when Matt cut him off.
The peddler.
Pardon Fane, Perrin agreed, nodding. The beggar, Rand said, suddenly hoarse. He sat back at the sudden hatred that flared in Fane's eyes. He's the man who was asking about us in Camelin. He has to be. So this concerns you after all, Moraine Sedai, Agilmar said slowly. Moraine nodded. I greatly fear that it does.
I didn't want to.
Fane began to cry. Fat tears cut runnels in the dirt on his cheeks, but they were unable to reach the bottom layer.
He made me, him and his burning eyes.
Rand flinched. Matt had his hand under his coat, no doubt clutching the dagger from Shadar Logoth again.
He made me his hound, to hunt and follow with never a bit of rest. Only his hound, even after he threw me away.
It does concern us all, Moraine said grimly. Is there a place where I can talk with him alone, Lord Agilmar? Her mouth tightened with distaste. And wash him first. I may need to touch him. Agilmar nodded and spoke softly to Ingtar, who bowed and disappeared through the door.
I will not be compelled.
The voice was Fane's, but he was no longer crying, and an arrogant snap had replaced the whine. He stood upright, not crouching at all. Throwing back his head, he shouted at the ceiling.
Never again! I will not!
He faced Agilmar as if the men flanking him were his own bodyguard, and the Lord of Faldara his equal rather than his captor. His tone became sleek and oily.
There is a misunderstanding here, Great Lord. I am sometimes taken by spells, but that will pass soon. Yes, soon I will be rid of them.
Yo, and it's like, yo, what's going on? This is such a different Padden Fane that we're meeting here. Like, this is not the same person that we were introduced to in the show at all. My boy was whistling, twirling stuff around, chilling, and that's what it's all about. But here, he ain't that. He ain't that at all. Yeah, I think that's it in 46. I think the stuff that I was about to start talking about is in 47. That's why I was like, wait a minute. I was just trying to make sure. All right, let's jump into chapter 4 to 6 and see how everybody was feeling about that. Rip Moiraine's staff. What Patton Fane has been through is effed up, even for someone evil like him. Yeah, facts. That's very true. He did not deserve it. By the way, we get a new map. Did we not? Did we? Did yeah? Did we? Thank you for reminding me. At some point, there will be a test on country names and capitals. No, I don't even. I'm terrible at stuff like that. Please, Lord, no. Lord Agelmar is just the lord of this keep. He's not the king, but he is very high up there. Oh, okay, I got you. Haven't you seen that green dude on cans of green beans? That's him. Nah, you're wildin'. Land would be great on an open mic night. Facts. Patton Fane's story is another that diverges from the show. He's a dark friend, but also more. Yeah, you can definitely see that here. Very wary of small things. Anxiety in a nutshell. Oh, is that what that is? Show Fane is much less Gollum-esque than book Fane. Facts. Imagine being the guy that's got a clean Fane. Nah, that's insane. And you're just scrubbing off heaps of dirt. Lord. Yeah, that would be crazy for sure. I want nothing to do with any of that. I want nothing to do with none of that. Good Lord. Okay, yo. I'm enjoying it. I loved me some chapter 46. But now let's get into the final chapter of the night. What is up, Super Fam?
How's it going, everyone?
Welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things Marvel and everything pop culture.
We started Marvel Bros back in 2019 because we have a love for not only Marvel movies and comics, but because we wanted to have a place where people could stay up to date with all pop culture news.
Here, you will have access to all of our content, whether it be trailer reactions. You look like He-Man.
Oh!
And most importantly, controllable.
Go!
Character breakdowns. Welcome to Marvel Bros Breakdown.
Welcome to Marvel Bros Breakdown, where we dive deeper into characters and theorize about the latest films.
Pop culture news updates. On today's pop culture news update.
And on today's pop culture news update.
On today's pop culture news update.
Today's pop culture news update.
Or movie reviews.
We love to have open discussions here on the channel, so feel free to join us when we go live.
Battle Cove, I like that Kang's motives are understandable in the same way Thanos' motives were. That's exactly what we're saying. That was pretty awesome. Well.
Or jump in the comment section of a trailer reaction or breakdowns so we can theorize, converse, and nerd out.
Follow us on social media at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with the latest news, rumors, content, and more.
You can also join our Discord, where we are constantly having conversations pertaining to Marvel, DC, Star Wars, anime, and everything pop culture.
All of our past pop culture news updates are available wherever you listen to podcasts at.
If you guys would like to support Marvel Bros, all you gotta do is visit our website at www.marvelbros.com and buy some merch. Represent the Superfan.
To get early access to content, patron-only scoops, giveaways, private Q&As, and those sacred watch. Alrighty, ladies and gents, let's get into the final segment of tonight, and that is more Tales of the Wheel. Yes, sir. Ski. I am excited about this one too. Let's just jump right on in. Let's just jump right on in. Okay, here we go.
The Lord of Faldara looked at Matt disapprovingly. His gaze took in Rand and Perrin without any improvement, then turned back to the women. Rand's pacing had taken him close to them. "My lord," Egwene was saying, as glibly as if she had been using titles all of her life. "I thought he was a warder, but you call him Dai Shan and talk about a golden crane banner, and so do those other men. Sometimes you sound almost as if he's a king. I remember once Moraine called him the last lord of the Seven Towers. Who is he?"
Land's
Nynaeve began
backstory,
studying her
baby.
cup intently, but it was obvious to Rand that abruptly she was listening even more closely than was Egwene. Rand stopped and tried to overhear without seeming to eavesdrop. "Lord of the Seven Towers," Agilmar said with a frown. "An ancient title, Lady Egwene. Not even the High Lords of Tyr have older, though the Queen of Andor comes close." He heaved a sigh and shook his head. "He will not speak of it, yet the story is well known along the border. He is a king, or should have been, Allan Mandragoran, Lord of the Seven Towers, Lord of the Lakes, crownless king of the Malkieri." His shaven head lifted high, and there was a light in his eye as if he felt a father's pride. His voice grew stronger, filled with the force of his feeling. The whole room could hear without straining. "We of Shinar call ourselves bordermen, but fewer than 50 years ago, Shinar was not truly of the borderlands. North of us and Oarafel was Malkier. The Lancers of Shinar rode north, but it was Malkier that held back the blight. Malkier, peace favor her memory, and the light illumine her name." "Lan is from Malkier," the wisdom said softly, looking up. She seemed troubled. It was not a question, but Agilmar nodded. "Yes, Lady Nynaeve. He is the son of Alakir Mandragoran, last crowned king of the Malkieri. How did he become as he is? The beginning, perhaps, was Lane. On a dare, Lane Mandragoran, the king's brother, led his lances through the blight to the Blasted Lands, perhaps to Sheol Ghoul itself. Lane's wife, Breann, made that dare for the envy that burned her heart that Alakir had been raised to the throne instead of Lane. The king and Lane were as close as brothers could be, as close as twins, even after the royal Al was added to Akir's name, but jealousy racked Breann. Lane was acclaimed for his deeds, and rightfully so, but not even he could outshine Alakir. He was man and king, such as comes once in 100 years, if that. Peace favor him, and Eliana. Lane died in the Blasted Lands with most of those who followed him, men Malkier could ill afford to lose, and Breann blamed the king, saying that Sheol Ghoul itself would have fallen if Alakir had led the rest of the Malkieri north with her husband. For revenge, she plotted with Cohen Gamalan, called Cohen Fairheart, to seize the throne for her son, Isam. Now, Fairheart was a hero almost as well loved as Alakir himself, and one of the Great Lords. But when the Great Lords had cast the rods for king, only two separated him from Akir, and he never forgot that two men laying a different color on the crowning stone would have set him on the throne instead. Between them, Cohen and Breann moved soldiers back from the Blight to seize the Seven Towers, stripping the border forts to bare garrisons. But Cohen's jealousy ran deeper.
Bro is furious.
Disgust tinged Agilmar's voice. Fairheart, the hero, whose exploits in the Blight were sung throughout the Borderlands, was a dark friend. With the border forts weakened, Trollocs poured into Malkier like a flood. King Alakir and Lane together might have rallied the land. They had done so before. But Lane's doom in the Blasted Lands had shaken the people, and the Trolloc invasion broke men's spirit and their will to resist. Too many men, overwhelming numbers, pushed the Malkieri back into the heartland. Breann fled with her infant son, Isam, and was run down by Trollocs as she rode south with him. No one knows their fate for a certainty, but it can be guessed. I can find pity only for the boy. When Cohen Fairheart's treachery was revealed, and he was taken by young Jane Charin, already called Jane Fastrider, when Fairheart was brought to the Seven Towers in chains, the Great Lords called for his head on a pike.
But because he had been second only to Alakir and Lane in the hearts of the people, the king faced him in single combat and slew him. Alakir
Freaking
wept when he
crazy.
killed Cohen. Some say he wept for a friend who had given himself to the shadow. And some say for Malkier. The Lord of Valdara shook his head sadly. The first peal of the doom of the Seven Towers had been struck. There was no time to gather aid from Shinar or Arafel, and no hope that Malkier could stand alone, with 5,000 of her lances dead in the blasted lands, her border forts overrun. Alakir and his queen Eliana had Lan brought to them in his cradle. Into his infant hands they placed the sword of Malkieri kings, the sword he wears today. A weapon made by Aes Sedai during the War of Power, the War of the Shadow that brought down the Age of Legends. They anointed his head with oil, naming him Daishan, a diademed battle lord, and consecrated him as the next king of the Malkieri. And in his name, they swore the ancient oath of Malkieri kings and queens. Argulmar's face hardened, and he spoke the words as if he too had sworn that oath, or one much similar. To stand against the shadow so long as iron is hard and stone abides, to defend the Malkieri while one drop of blood remains, to avenge what cannot be defended. The words rang in the chamber. Eliana placed a locket around her son's neck for remembrance, and the infant wrapped in swaddling clothes by the queen's own hand was given over to 20 chosen from the king's bodyguard, the best swordsmen, the most deadly fighters. Their command, to carry the child to Falmoran. Then did Alakir and Eliana lead the Malkieri out to face the shadow one last time. There they died, at Herod's crossing, and the Malkieri died, and the Seven Towers were broken. Shinar and Arafel and Kandor met the half-men and the Trollocs at the stair of Jehan, and threw them back, but not as far as they had been. Most of Malkier remained in Trolloc hands, and year by year, mile by mile, the blight has swallowed it. Argulmar drew a heavy-hearted breath. When he went on, there was a sad pride in his eyes and voice. Only 5 of the bodyguards reached Falmoran alive. Every man wounded, but they had the child unharmed. From the cradle, they taught him all they knew. He learned weapons as other children learned toys, and the blight as other children their mother's garden. The oath sworn over his cradle is graven in his mind. There is nothing left to defend, but he can avenge.
Bruh.
He denies his titles, yet
Cooking.
in the borderlands he is called the Uncrowned, and if ever he raised the golden crane of Malkier, an army would come to follow. But he will not lead men to their deaths.
Bro.
In the Blight, he courts death as a suitor courts a maiden, but he will not lead others to it. If you must enter the Blight, and with only a few, there is no man better to take you there, nor to bring you safely out again. He is the best of the warders, and that means the best of the best. You might as well leave these boys here to gain a little seasoning and put your entire trust in Lan. The Blight is no place for untried boys.
Like, excuse the hell out of me? And that wasn't, so you're telling me about someone who's not the main character? What? Bruh, I need that and just that alone. That is, bro, beautiful. Just beautifully constructed. My man is Moses. Like, there's not even another way to explain it. Like, Moses meets John Wick, my guy. Like, oh my God. Yo, the Uncrowned is the hardest thing I've ever heard. Wow. Incredible. I love it. That was just the hardest backstory I've ever even heard. And it's just something that you're just hearing in passing. Like, that's it. You're not in passing, but in conversation. Like, what in the world? Like, how do we even get to this point with all, like, oh my goodness. And then after we hear that, we just are thrown right back into it with what's going on with Fane. Like, good Lord, there is no time to breathe. There's no time to do anything. It's just from one thing to another.
Demanded.
What do they say?
Matt
Out of the
rose
frying
and
pan
Pen,
and
too.
into the
Agilmar
pan?
muttered,
Wait.
then raised his voice to a normal tone.
Out of the frying pan.
Did
and
you
into
learn
the
anything,
oven?
said I? Or is he simply a madman? He is mad, Moraine said, or close to it. But there is nothing simple about Padan Fane. One of the black and gold liveried servants bowed his way in with a blue wash basin and pitcher, a bar of yellow soap, and a small towel on a silver tray. He looked anxiously at Agilmar. Moraine directed him to put them on the table. Your pardon for commanding your servants, Lord Agilmar, she said. I took the liberty of asking for this. Agilmar nodded to the servant, who put the tray on the table and left hurriedly. My servants are yours to command, said I. The water Moraine poured into the basin steamed as if only just off the boil. She pushed up her sleeves and began vigorously washing her hands without regard for the heat of the water. I said he was worse than vile, but I did not come close. I do not believe I have ever met someone so abject and debased, yet at the same time so foul. I feel soiled from touching him, and I do not mean for the filth on his skin. Soiled in here. She touched her breast. The degradation of his soul almost makes me doubt he has one. There is something worse to him than a dark friend. He looked so pitiful, Egwene murmured. I remember him arriving in Emond's Field each spring, always laughing and full of news from outside. Surely there's some hope for him. No man can stand in the shadow so long that he cannot find the light again, she quoted. The Aes Sedai towelled her hands briskly. I have always believed it so, she said. Perhaps Padan Fane can be redeemed, but he has been a dark friend more than 40 years, and what he has done for that, in blood and pain and death, would freeze your heart to hear. Among the least of these, though not small to you, I suspect, he brought the Trollocs to Emond's Field.
Bruh.
Yes, Rand said softly. He heard Egwene gasp. I should have guessed. Burn me, I should have as soon as I recognized him. Did he bring any here? Matt asked. He looked at the stone walls around them and shivered. Rand thought he was remembering the Myrddraal more than Trollocs. Walls had not stopped the Fade at Baerlon, or at Whitebridge. If he did, Agilmar laughed, they'll break their teeth on the walls of Faldara. Many others have before. He was speaking to everyone, but obviously addressing his words to Egwene and Nynaeve from the glances he gave them. And do not worry yourself about half-men either. Matt's face reddened. Every street and alley in Faldara is lit by night, and no man may hide his face inside the walls. Why would Master Fane do that? Egwene asked. 3 years ago. With a heavy sigh, Moraine sat down, folding up as if what she had done with Fane had drained her. 3 years this summer. As far back as that. The light surely favours us, else the father of lies would have triumphed while I still sat planning in Tar Valon. 3 years Fane has been hunting you for the Dark One. That's crazy, Rand said. He's come into the Two Rivers every spring as regular as a clock. 3 years. We've been right there in front of him, and he never looked at any of us twice before last year. The Aes Sedai pointed a finger at him, fixing him. Fane told me everything, Rand. Or almost everything. I believe he managed to hold back something important, despite all I could do, but he said enough. 3 years ago, a half-man came for him in a town in Morandi. Fane was terrified, of course, but it is considered a very great honor among dark friends to be so summoned.
I'm not sure what the difference is between a half-man and a Trolloc. That's another note that I wrote down right here. I'm like, yo, what is a half-man versus what a Trolloc is? Like, or are those just the same names, different names for the same thing, or are those actually different things? I'm a little confused with that, not gonna lie.
Fane believed he had been chosen for great things, and he had, though not in the manner he believed. He was brought north to the Blight.
to the Blasted Lands, to Sheol Ghul, where he met a man with eyes of fire who named himself Baalzamon. Matt shifted uneasily and Rand swallowed hard. It had to have been that way, of course, but that did not make it any easier to accept. Only Perrin looked at the Aes Sedai as if nothing could surprise him any longer. "The light protect us," Argylmar said fervently. "Thane did not like what was done to him at Sheol Ghul," Moraine continued calmly. "While we talked, he screamed often of fire and burning. It almost killed him, bringing it all out from where he had it hidden. Even with my healing, he is a shattered ruin. It will take much to make him whole again. I will make the effort, though, if for no other reason than to learn what more he still hides. He had been chosen because of where he did his peddling. No?" she said quickly when they stirred. "Not the Two Rivers only. Not then. The Father of Lies knew roughly where to find what he sought, but not much better than we in Tar Valon. Thane said he has been made the Dark One's hound, and in a way he is right. The Father of Lies set Thane to hunt, first changing him so he could carry out that hunt. It is the things done to bring about those changes that Thane fears to remember. He hates his master for them as much as he fears him. So Thane was sent sniffing and hunting through all the villages around Baerlon and all the way to the Mountains of Mist and down to the Tyrant and across into the Two Rivers." 3 springs ago," Perrin said slowly. "I remember that spring. Thane came later than usual, but what was strange was that he lingered on. A whole week he remained, idle and gnashing his teeth about laying out money for a room at the Winespring Inn. Thane likes his money." "I remember now," Matt said. "Everybody was wondering, was he sick, or had he fallen for a local woman? Not that any of them would marry a peddler, of course. As well marry one of the travelling people." Egwene raised an eyebrow at him, and he shut his mouth. After that, Thane was taken to Sheol Ghul again, and his mind was distilled. Rand's stomach turned over at the tone in the Aes Sedai's voice. It told more of what she meant than the grimace that flashed across her face. What he had sensed was concentrated and fed back. When he entered the Two Rivers the next year, he was able to choose his targets out more clearly. Indeed, more clearly even than the Dark One had expected. Thane knew for a certainty that the one he sought was one of 3 in Emond's Field. Perrin grunted, and Matt began cursing in a soft monotone that even Nynaeve's glare did not stop. Argylmar looked at them curiously. Rand felt only the faintest chill, and wondered at it. 3 years the Dark One had been hunting him, hunting them. He was sure it should have made his teeth chatter.
Bruh. And Rand's like, well, it be like that. Oh, man. And Fane was just, like, literally put through it. Fane was definitely put through it, man.
Moraine did not allow Matt to interrupt her. She raised her voice enough to be heard over him. When Thane returned to Lugard, Baalzamon came to him in a dream. Thane abased himself and performed rites that would strike you deaf to hear the half of them, binding himself even more tightly to the Dark One. What is done in dreams can be more dangerous than what is done awake.
Ooh.
Rand stirred at the sharp, warning look, but she did not pause. He was promised great rewards, power over kingdoms after Baalzamon's victory, and told that when he returned to Emond's Field, he was to mark the 3 he had found. A half-man would be there waiting for him with Trollocs. We know now how the Trollocs came to the Two Rivers. There must have been an Ogier Grove and a waygate at Manetherin. "The most beautiful of all," Loyal said, "except for Tar Valon." He had been listening as intently as everyone else. "Manetherin is remembered fondly by the Ogier." Argylmar formed the name silently, his eyebrows raised in wonder. Manetherin. "Lord Argylmar," Moraine said, "I will tell you how to find the waygate of Marfal de Daranel. It must be walled up and a guard set, and none allowed near. The half-men have not learned all of the ways yet, but that waygate is to the south, and only hours from Faldara." The Lord of Faldara gave himself a shake, as if he were coming out of a trance. "South? Peace?
We don't need that. The light shine on us. It shall be done. Did Fane follow us through the ways? Perrin asked. He must have done. Moraine nodded. Fane would follow you three into the grave, because he must. When the Murdral failed at Emmons Field, it brought Fane with the Trollocs on our trail. The Fade would not let Fane ride with him. Although he thought he should have the best horse in the Two Rivers and ride at the head of the band, the Murdral forced him to run with the Trollocs, and the Trollocs to carry him when his feet gave out. They talked so that he could understand, arguing about the best way to cook him when his usefulness was done. Fane claims he turned against the Dark One before they reached the Turren, but sometimes his greed for his promised rewards seeps into the open. When we had escaped across the Turren, the Murdral took the Trollocs back to the closest waygate in the Mountains of Mist and sent Fane across alone. He thought he was free then, but before he reached Baerlon, another Fade found him, and that one was not so kind. It made him sleep doubled up on himself in a Trolloc kettle at night to remind him of the price of failure. That one used him as far as Shadar Logoth. By then, Fane was willing to give the Murdral his mother if it would free him, but the Dark One never willingly loosens a hold he has gained. What I did there, sending an illusion of our tracks and smell off toward the mountains, fooled the Murdral, but not Fane. The half-men did not believe him. Afterward, they dragged him behind them on a leash. Only when we seemed to keep always just ahead, no matter how hard they pressed, did some begin to credit him. Those were the four who returned to Shadar Logoth. Fane claims it was Baalzamon himself who drove the Murdral.
Yo!
Argelmar shook his head contemptuously. The Dark One? Pah! The man's lying or mad. If Heartsbane were loose, we'd all of us be dead by now, or worse. Fane spoke the truth as he saw it, Moraine said. He could not lie to me, though he hid much. His words. Baalzamon appeared like a flickering candle flame, vanishing and reappearing, never in the same place twice. His eyes seared the Murdral, and the fires of his mouth scourged us. Something, Lan said, drove four Fades to where they feared to go. A place they fear almost as much as they fear the wrath of the Dark One. Argelmar grunted as if he had been kicked. He looked sick. It was evil against evil in the ruins of Shadar Logoth, Moraine continued, foul fighting vile. When Fane spoke of it, his teeth chattered and he whimpered. Many Trollocs were slain, consumed by Mashadar and other things, including the Trolloc that held Fane's leash. He fled the city as if it were the pit of doom at Sheol Ghul. Fane believed he was free at last. He intended to run until Baalzamon could never find him again, to the ends of the earth if necessary. Imagine his horror when he discovered that the compulsion to hunt did not lessen. Instead, it grew stronger and sharper with every day that passed. He could not eat, except what he could scavenge while he hunted you. Beetles and lizards snatched while he ran, half-rotten refuse dug from midden heaps in the dark of night. Nor could he stop until exhaustion collapsed him like an empty sack. And as soon as he had strength to stand again, he was driven on. By the time he reached Camelin, he could feel his quarry even when it was a mile away. Here, in the cells below, he would sometimes look up, without realizing what he was doing. He was looking in the direction of this room. Rand had a sudden itch between his shoulder blades.
Like, oh my god. My guy Patton Fane. What the heck, bro? Poor guy. He just went through it. And all this time, the Dark One has just been getting stronger and stronger and infiltrating people's dreams and just causing all these things. How the hell was he here? Like, what? Like, I'm so confused. My biggest question is, why did the show not use Baalzamon? Like, and then I know someone mentioned Heartsbane at one point, and I'm like, is Heartsbane another name for Baalzamon, aka the Dark One, aka, you know, aka Aka? Like, is that who that is? I don't know. Just seems I'm like, bro, what's going on? Like, why did the show use Ishmael instead of the Dark One? Biggest question. Like, I just don't understand that. Why is it not the Dark One? Is it because they haven't cast the Dark One yet, and they're like, "Yo, well, we want to create to cast the Dark One, so let's change the story." You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, how many names does the goddamn Dark One have? Who is Heartsbane? Who is that? Who is he? Who is they? I mean, confuzzled. I'm like, bro, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Like, that's how, like, bro. Like, and then the show calls Ishmael the father of the lies. And I'm like, okay, so is Ishmael Beelzebub? Like, what's happening? Like, is Ishmael actually the Dark One? No, Ishmael's just a dark friend. Like, like, what's going on? Like, where is... This is a Raffo? Oh, okay. All right, let's jump into chat. Let's jump into chat now since I'm in Raffo territory already. Jumping back to Camelin, it's funny how when Rand ran into Fane, he immediately told him where he was staying, but didn't tell anyone because but hey, don't tell anyone because some bad people are trying to find us. Yeah, that was pretty funny. That did have me rolling too. I was like, bro, what? Why did you tell everything? The Tale of Lan, exactly. If you look at the map on the cover, you can see an outline where Malkir used to be. The map on the cover. I can see an outline. No. We no see. I look though. Lord Algamar is a natural storyteller. Facts, bro, was dropping straight exposition. Talk about being born with high expectations. No wonder Lan is so uptight. Facts. That's really true. Lan's backstory is epic enough for a TV show in and of itself. Big facts yet again. Lan is Batman. He's even rich. He's even a rich orphan. That's funny. And he's got a cool cape. Half Man, R Fades, R Madral, and the Eyeless. Okay, I got you. Fun fact, Madral are technically mutated offspring of Trollocs. A Forsaken created Trollocs in the Age of Legends by magic manipulation, by magic genetic manipulation. But when Trolloc breeding produced Midral, it was a surprise to even the Forsaken, who created Trollocs and other shadow spawn. Trollocs can breed? And it makes the eyeless? Oh. That's insane. It's a lot of names to keep track of. Okay. I appreciate the difference in cultures in such a, like, across the board type of manner, but sweet baby Jesus. Why did the show use Ishmael? This is a Rapho. Baalzamon is the Trolloc word meaning heart of the dark. Humans believe it refers to dark ones. Check the top. Refers to the dark ones. What? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild. I definitely did not know that. Check the top right. Find Shinar. Shinar. Okay, Shinar. And then what do I do? Look up. I just see. I don't see it. Let me see. Malkir. Oh. Above Faldera. Okay, that's wild. Damn. I remember you guys telling me about Malkir as well. Heartsbane, Leaf Blighter, Father of Lies, the Dark One are all nicknames for Shaitan, the antithesis of the Creator. God damn. When Trollocs breed, they usually make more Trollocs, but every once in a while, you get a Madral. Damn. Here's something that'll keep you up at night. Do bird Trollocs have boobs? Yo, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't even know if I know what a Trolloc is anymore. You know what I'm saying? There's bird Trollocs. Like, what? I'm pretty sure we only have the one form of Trolloc in the show, and that's just like the bull ones. I don't know if we've seen like any other versions yet necessarily, but I think we need to. I think we really need to. Damn. I gotta have like an eyelash in my eye or something. That's insane, man. This reading portion was just fantiddly-tastic yet again. I really had a wonderful time with this. It was awesome. It was definitely awesome. It was definitely a vibe yet again to be here and talking about this amazing show. Talk about this amazing show. Talk about this amazing, good Lord, book. It's been so good, and I am so sad to know that we're about to be done with it next week. Like, man, that's so crazy. Like, how did we get here so quickly? You know what I mean? Like, how do we blink and now here we are? That's definitely crazy. But I'm excited that we're about to finish the book and it's gonna be all done, and I mean, like, we only have like nothing left. So like, on one hand, I'm excited that we're about to end it, but I'm like super confused about what we're what we're gonna be doing next week. Because we have 5 chapters left, and it's like there has to be so much more story. So I'm a little scared and nervous, but I'm here for it, though. I'm here for it. Like, I'm excited that we get to finish it, and I'm excited that it's going to be probably a complete form of whiplash, and it's going to be so confusing, and it's going to be just filled with just like, what's happening, you know? And I'm pretty pumped about that. I'm pretty hyped about that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm kind of thinking about doing like some kind of Discord watch party, maybe, to where we just kind of list like we do the like all the rest of them together in the Discord and kind of listen to them. Do the audiobook from Rosamund Pike in the Cord. So I think that would be something awesome to do. But I don't know if we can do it 100,000,000%. But it is something that I'm looking to do. So definitely join the Cord for that. And then if you become a Brovenger, you'll be able to access more things like that more often. Because that's something that I definitely want to do a lot more is, record, like, just do things like that live and listen to it together and all that type of stuff. Or a Broverin, excuse me. Become a Broverin to get access to all that goody goodness. Really thinking about doing the whole thingamajigger to have it better set up for real, but we'll see. Let's see. Show had some bull-horned, some goat-horned, some with wolf snouts and bear faces. The physical costumes were modular, so they mix and match pieces. Yeah, I that's true. You're right. I remember that. I remember blatantly seeing like the horse one. You're right. You're right about that for sure. It just feels like they all were very similar still in the form of on the ground. We didn't see any of the flyers, and I think the flyers are the ones that start making it a little bit more unique, it seems like oh shit, what's going on here? But maybe they do that in the 3rd season or something with the release of some of the Forsaken, and it's like, oh well, the Forsaken are starting to create new type of Trollocs now or something. Oh, we never like stumble across like a Trolloc orgy or something. That would just be freaking crazy. Like a breeding pod for Trolloc. Nah. Come on, son. That would just be insane. You get to finish the book now. Let's go. I'm so excited. Like, I am so excited to finish the book for real. It's gonna be insane. And then we'll take a little break, and then we'll be on to book 2. Prepare to be confused next week. We'll look forward to talking you through it. I'm looking forward to being confused as well. I'm not going to lie. I am. I'm hyped to be confused. I'm ready. You'll recognize nothing from the show. Oh, dear God. Is it like that? That's crazy. I had no idea. The flying shadow spawn are a different creature called Drakkar, and if they make it into the show, I'd be shocked, pleasantly shocked. Yeah, because I know there's the Drakkar, which are the flyers, but then there's also Trollocs that do different stuff too, yeah? Or do no Trollocs fly at all? Or all the ones, are anything that flies not a Trolloc, it's a Drakkar. And anything on the floor is either a Madral or a Trolloc. Is that like the vibe? That would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. No Trollocs fly. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay, I got you, I got you. Some just have bird beaks. Bet that up and dunk it. Bet that up and dunk it. Okay, I understand. I understand almost all the things that I was confused about, and I'm excited to get into next week, and I'm excited to get into every other book from then on out. You know what I mean? At some point, we're probably gonna have to just go past the show, but I don't really know if I want to do that. So we'll see how it goes. Once we get through book 2, that's kind of why I want to let a little time slide by, because then once I finish book 2, everyone's going to be like, yo, do book 3, do book 3. And I'm going to be like, no, I'm not doing book 3 at all. So it's like we can either go straight into book 2, or we can do another book and let that take over for a little time and then come back to Wheel of Time again and then do it there. But, you know, who knows? Who knows what'll be going on, and who knows what'll be happening. The only thing that I know is going to be happening is that this Friday we are going to be doing our Super Fam Friday, and we are going to be talking about my book, GTLG, Gifts, the Lands of Ghaphora.
6 nations divided, how the gods envisioned the lands of Ghaphora, where nations must praise their gods individually. Inguvu, the god of power, Altira, the goddess of reality, Akasha, the goddess of space, Akaili, the goddess of mind, Nafasi, the god of time, Isarin, the god of soul. Each god bestowed their name and universal property to their nation through the blood of their land. Diligent praise to these gods, along with the blood of the land, allows the inhabitants of Ghaphora to wield the universal property of their god. These inhabitants are called gifts. It is forbidden for these nations to fraternize with one another. Gifts, the lands of Ghaphora.
That is right. Make sure you guys tune in on Friday, where we talk about my book a little bit more. Get some of those alpha reader copies out there to you guys. Get some people in the new Gifts Discord, Gifts Court, if you will. You know what I mean, and get a lot more things like that going. And I'm excited to continue writing the book and all those things. And I'm just really hyped to kind of get a lot of those things happening. And it's gonna be freaking. I think it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited to share a lot of the stuff that's going on, and share some other things, and maybe do some reading from the book. Possibly. I think that would be awesome. I kind of want to read. I want to read the first 5 chapters, but I know it's likely to change through the process of rough draft to finish draft. And I don't know how much of that I want to put out into the air for everyone type of vibe. It's like I think I want to have those things kind of be in the Discord specifically, but I do want to drop maybe like the prologue or something like that, and the alpha cover, I guess you can say, like, or the alpha cover, I guess, the alpha cover for the book. I have it in PDF form. I have it in iBook form. So if you're on iPad or something like that, you'll still be able to read it the same way you would any other book. Yeah, I got it in all those different types of ways. So Friday, I hope you guys pull up. and we can talk about my book. We can share I'll share some information, and then be giving out some of those copies. My Sue, I don't know how to get a copy to you. I've been trying to figure it out. I've been trying to think what I can do to get, not just get a copy to you, but also be able to get some communication in. But alas. But with all that being said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in with y'all boy. Tonight it was awesome. Yet again, I'm so happy to get ready for next week. Next week is gonna be such a vibe. Next week's gonna be such a vibe, and I'm ready to get it all pip pop plopping and slapping. For real. I'm really excited and exuberant about it, for real. We finishing Wheel of Time, starting more stuff with my book as well. It's good time to be a nerd, man. We got a whole bunch of other nerdy things going on here at the channel too. If you guys aren't, keen to the pop culture stuff, it's okay. But we will be going live. We're going to be trying to go live and bringing our news flashes back. Marisu, you probably remember when we were doing a news flash every day. We're going to try to bring that back. I think it was like around 3 p.m. every day. We would go live for like an hour and just talk about the news of the pop culture news of the day, that is. And we're going to be trying to bring that back, as well as some other things too. So we're going to keep it going and try to keep the content and the lives pumping out. Live content, live shows, recorded content, and then the edited content, like across the board. We're going to try to just keep crunching a little bit of everything out week by week, growing the family around here, dipping our toes back into Warhammer more. Of course, staying true to the Wheel of Time stuff and the other nerdy things that we cover as well. So I'm excited to get into it all. I hope you guys are excited. I hope if any of you guys like Warhammer 40K, let me know about that too, because we're going to be getting into it with the Warhammer 40K a lot more. It's Warhammer 40K and everything else. We're just trailer reactions, all of the things. It's about to be going. We're going to be seeing a lot more content here on the channel, so I hope you guys are ready to go on the ride as well, because it's been one hell of a journey, and the journey continues. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. As I always say, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day and night, no matter where you are, no matter what time it is you're watching. If you watch it on the replay and you've stayed to the end, you're a trooper. For real. Shout out to KP, because I'm pretty sure my guy is gonna come through with the with the timestamps for the video. So much appreciation to you, my boy. And yeah, man, y'all have been fantiddly-tastic. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on all platforms at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with all things Marvel and everything pop culture. You can also follow me on social media at time. I just hope everyone is ready to get it crickling and crackling. And like I said, we're going to be talking about that book on Friday. So you guys have all been awesome. You guys have all been great. I hope you stay awesome, stay nerdy, and don't forget to stay marvelous. Excelsior.
You guys would like to support Marvel Bros? All you gotta do is visit our website at www.marvelbros.com.
It's pronounced GIF.
You guys would like to support Marvel Bros? All you gotta do is visit our website at www.marvelbros.com and buy some merch. Represent Superfan. Or you can join our Patreon to get early access to content, patron-only scoops, giveaways, private Q&As, and those sacred watch. We appreciate you guys. Got you later. Excelsior.
On today's pop culture news update.